Good morning. My name is Jack James, and I'm passionate about music, like producing music, like beats for rappers and any musician that would uh, that I could produce for. So, when I was end of grade three, we got the choice to join the school band at primary school. I went to Olympia State School, and I chose out of the three, I chose to do the trumpet or the saxophone or the drums. And my instrumental teacher, he pulled me into the class and he asked which one I would like to do the most. And from what I told him, I sounded like I did wanted to do the drums most. And so I did that until end of year six. Started at this school in grade seven, and I had played in the concert band here in grade seven and grade eight. And now I make beats on my computer with this application. Sorry, it's not up. This application, it's called FL Studio, and pretty much you can make beats on the computer and project it through speakers. And now I work with other producers, rap producers, and some rappers to create beats. So I've got my Instagram page up here, as you can see, and I've got uploads of my music, and I haven't got the most followers, but it's what, just starting out. And I also have a little home setup. I've got my TV, my computer, which is almost out of storage because I've got so much music equipment on it. I've got a set of speakers, 4-inch Mackie Studio monitors, and I've got my headphones, which I also use. And this is my motivation to do what I do. Nick Mira, I pretty much got into music producing because of him. I started watching deconstructed videos on how he makes his beats and tutorials and that kind of stuff. And this is Cash Money AP. He's one of the biggest music producers out at the moment. So they pretty much are the reason why I'm here making music. And I've got my goals, which I'd like to achieve by the time I'm out of school. I like new equipment. Um, I need recognition. Sorry, like I'd like to get recognized in the music industry from other music producers and musical artists. And I've already been working with musical producers and some artists, but I'd like to work with more. And here's a beat which I created just for the Shark Tank. This is a collab with one of my friends, Mason Wood. It's not coming through to the done. Press play. Right click on it. You go open the equipment. So I made this a couple of weeks ago and I decided to play it because it's pretty good in my opinion. And I'll also play another one which I've done with another producer. thanks for your time. Have you got any feedback? Anything? So yeah, I've got like a big passion for it, and I'm trying to make like music for other people to listen to, because me listening to music myself makes me want to do it, and I want to do it as a career, because like everyone loves listening to music and all that. So I'm trying to get recognized. I'm trying to get myself a bigger name, and I'm trying to get a better ability at making music. Like I'm trying to improve my skills and pretty much like do anything that it takes to get a career out of it.
Right, stop. I really like the music, so congratulations. It was absolutely brilliant. I'm not actually from a musical background, but I can understand putting together an actual beat and a harmony that actually sounds nice is actually quite a complicated thing. So I put a massive concept brilliant on there. So the question was in terms of monetizing it, because I had a couple of ideas I wanted to see what you thought. Because at the moment, like audio and your big sort of role models there, they're quite well respected, well known, they're making money. So what do you think you're going to do over the next few years to monetize or to bring money into this sort of business?
Yeah, so I've spent heaps of money on it, and I'm trying to get money out of it, but obviously because I only started last year, it's not going to happen straight away. But I pretty much go home, have like some food, and I on my computer make beats, and I just keep doing that to try to get better and try to improve my ability at it. I've sent out a couple beats to a couple artists, but I haven't, just because I've started, I'm not asking for like big money for it, so it's just free and all that. So once I get a bigger name, obviously I'll get money into it.
That's really cool. I actually understand that the actual movement from having your sound into making money out of it is obviously a big transition.
Yeah.
I don't know, have you ever heard of Shutterstock Audio? For some reason, all these small businesses are always trying to find audio, but it goes on the back of either their website or they put it on the back of an ad or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It makes millions and millions of dollars. And I was on Shutterstock Audio before, and your two tunes that you just heard, they're actually really highly, you might not be the kind of the route you want to be going because you want to be more an artist, but I can totally hear that on Shutterstock Audio, where you upload them and then whoever downloads them, they just pay you money.
Pay you royalty.
They just pay a royalty. But if you go and just type in Shutterstock into your into Google browser and then the audio version, you'll hear really cool tunes, and yours are really good. And the people could just you could upload them and download. They can download them and make money there.
Yeah.
As an idea, but you might do it a different way. And he goes,
it sounds like you've got a real passion for it. You started in grade 3, getting into music. You started playing drums, and you've built kind of this journey of your musical journey up to this point now, and that'll continue to grow for the rest of your life, obviously. Prior to working in economic development, years ago I worked managed bands. I used to play the drums myself, and worked at a record company. It's a really tough industry, to get into and to commercialise. Exactly what Chris said. How are you looking to commercialise this? There's the passion component, which you want to absolutely, and the creativity and the artist side of things that you want to continue to push. But there's almost another brand that you can create that you might do to commercialise some of this. So for the Shutterstock music, for TV commercials, for different kind of uses of audio that people have. And you can separate that, and you've got a great name. So Jack James, Jack James Music, that's that's a really good brand to be able to develop, you know, your artistic side and drive that further. But maybe create another brand where you're creating music that you can commercialise, so then that funds your creative pursuits as well, and hopefully the creative pursuits can bring in money as well.
Yeah.
The other thing I was going to ask was, you know, how are you seeking out these collaborators? So it sounds like you're the you know, the music man who's creating the beats, who's got those really creative ideas, but then you need collaborators to, you know, either be an MC or to, you know, just collaborate on the beats as well.
Yeah.
So how are you kind of seeking out those type of people?
So honestly, I follow bigger producers, and then like I'll see in their followers they'll have little producers following them. So I'll see them if they look like around my skill, and then I'll message them and say like, hey, want to collab? And usually they'll get back and say like, yeah, and then we'll trade melodies, or one of us will do drums to a certain beat and all that. And then yeah, so I'm trying to join a collective as well, which is a group of music artists, which is just a group really.
Yeah, spot on. No, that's exactly what you need to be doing, so that's
Yeah.
excellent to hear.
Yeah.
I think you know, as you do get more established, it's really important as an artist to make sure that you've got the right contracts and agreements so that your music and your copyright and your IP is protected. So that's just something to think about as you progress. But it's a slow build, and don't give up, because it is you know, a long-term thing. But I really think about those kind of two streams: your commercial and your creative.
Yeah.
And I'll just finish I've got a son the same age as you who loves that sort of music. He'd love to be able to do what you do, so well done for dedicating yourself to actually doing this. But as Tim said, it's a slow burn. The creative industries at the moment is completely decimated, so it will take some time. So if this is your passion, you'll stay with this forever. You may have to do other things on the side to allow you to actually grow and learn. I've got friends who went through the con and have come out music producers and things like that as well. So don't underestimate left field opportunities that will eventually get you back. Don't always look for the straight line to where you want to go. Sometimes you've got to go left, right, fork in the road, come out. So try everything basically and see where it takes you. You never know who you might meet or what you might gain from that experience. To Tim's point, find those micro influencers. They're going to be absolutely key to what you're doing. And people buy from people. Your music is part of why they come to you, but the reason why they'll continue to collaborate with you is because of you. You know, so build relationships with people. Don't make it always just about your music. Make it about their music. Make it about them and their life and who they are. Because when people build relationships with people, they'll end up buying stuff they didn't even think they even needed.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well done.
And one more thing quickly, sorry, is there's a local organisation called the Creative Alliance Sunshine Coast who run arts and arts programs for the community. So it's worth connecting with them. And also Council has a program called the Regional Arts Development Fund, which you can apply to funds to move your career forward as well. So check out those things as well.
Cool. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Josh. Together with Mason, Jacob and Alex, we are Better Ballers Academy. And we're planning to create an easy, accessible basketball training program for kids around the world.
We know from experience and by inquiring with some of our supporters that basketball clubs can be hard to get to. Many children cannot get driven to clubs and trainings weekly, so we plan on delivering trainings, drills and exercises to our customers so they can improve their skills from the comfort and ease of their own properties. Our training videos and drills can also be watched by those who have access to clubs but want to continue working on and improving their game at home. We plan on providing specialised training that targets certain skill sets and positions in order to aid more individual skill sets and abilities.
Over 1 million Australians play basketball, with the majority of those people being between the age of 12 and 18. These kids, most of them not able to drive yet themselves, are limited to where they live and when they can be driven to. Many kids aren't able to be driven 40 minutes each way to play basketball weekly. Other problems that could affect them are training and game days, as well as the large membership fees to join a club. Our program removes all these problems by delivering an easy and always accessible training program that can be completed whenever you want. Our aim is to increase the skills of young basketball players who have the drive but the lack to opportunity to train and continue to improve.
We surveyed a number of basketball players at school to find out whether they would use a program such as this, and many of them responded that they would. As they weren't able to make it to clubs, living too far away, as well as participating in other activities that made it not possible for them to play club. Our goal is to provide easy and effective training, drill, and exercise videos to help people who are passionate about the game.
This video is an example of what we will deliver. We will explain a drill before demonstrating it on screen. We have many different types of drills for different amounts of people, as well as different skill levels. Our program can currently be accessed on YouTube and Instagram, and we are currently working on building a website and potentially an app.
Our biggest competitors are Home Court and Evolve Basketball. Where we differ from our competitors is that they do not offer all the features that we do completely free. They all have paywalls, making it so only people with a surplus of money are able to access their content. We are able to grow and make money via a number of different pathways, including Patreon, advertisements, and sponsorships. This would help us grow as we aim to not charge money for our product, so it's accessible by everyone.
Our motivation for doing this project comes from a deep love of the sport of basketball and wanting to help the younger generation get better and enjoy basketball more by putting out educational and entertaining videos for free.
This leads us to what we have achieved so far as a team. We as a team have a website that will be fully functional within the coming weeks. This website will be used as an international hub for anyone to use to find all of the resources we offer for absolutely free. We also have an Instagram page with over 100 followers and our first video reaching over 600 views.
At Better Ballers Academy, we hope to bring basketball to everyone. Thank you for your time. We are looking for a financial investment for jerseys with the BBA logo and to own the domain for our website.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening.
How much are you looking for to be able to develop that?
Well, the domain's about $15 to buy the website name we're looking for, and we need to continue looking into jerseys and places where we can find custom logos for t-shirts.
And so, as far as the commercialization model that you had, you mentioned that your Patreon. What are the other ones that you're going to use?
Oh, we were going to use
Patreon selling advertisements on videos and as well as sponsorships from smaller companies.
Yeah, ad revenue or clubs
Yes.
as well.
And you think that's kind of a better way to go than like a subscription model for specific content? So you might have an element that's free and then specific content behind a paywall.
So we're thinking of having a Zoom call so we can have personal training, and we could use that for funding. For money.
Yeah, because we want to be able, so everyone is able to use Better Balls Academy to get better at their skills, even if they do not have lots of money to buy the skills.
And if you have the extra money and want to invest, then you can go towards us.
Yeah.
We'll do personal training with you, one-on-one.
And you're able to donate.
Yeah. And because sometimes with advertisements, there's so much noise out there and so many ads being pushed to us every day that sometimes advertisements can be a real turn off. And so, obviously you'd be thinking that you're going to get really like-minded advertisers involved. So it's not going to be things that are necessarily going to turn people off. But I just did wonder about that advertisement model because it really can turn a lot of people off, but it sounds like you've got other models of generating revenue, so that's excellent.
we were hoping to get like more basketball focused things as ads and sponsorships rather than Target or ads or anything like that.
Yeah, Rebel Sport and things like that. That's cool. And I think it's a really great opportunity here for on the Sunshine Coast and in major kind of metropolitan regional centres, there's lots of facilities for people to be able to go to local basketball courts and local clubs and whatnot. But there's a really great opportunity, I think, for rural, regional, and remote communities to be able to access this type of program. So I think that could be a real focus area for you. I think you've really done a great job at understanding what it is you wanted to create, who your competitors are, and who your market is. So well done. I think it's definitely a great idea, and given the current times as well, being able to do these type of things online, it's a kind of a business model that would continue through disruptions like the pandemic and whatnot as well. So well done.
Thank you.
A couple of things straight away. I'll introduce you to Jackson from Sports Cube, another pretty amazing young gentleman here on the coast. You get an amazing amount of energy out of him. He started his own tech sports startup, and it's all online as well, supporting clubs and things like that. The other thing, look to Tim's point about your commercialisation model. The key to anything is start local. Start really, really small and refine it before you actually go out into the world. So one of the suggestions I've got is we've got basketball courts here that are not being used at all. So what I would suggest is start your immediate network and actually organise certain events where you can go out to the basketball court and actually train those kids on those skills that you're actually recording. And then at the end of that, record their feedback on how they enjoyed it, and that'll be part of your marketing that will go forward. So you're giving back to the community, you're using it as a way of refining your how you're interacting with these people, practice recording it, all of those sort of things, and then you get the testimonials back to those people as well, and then you can build that up into your website and things like that. I hate advertising. I won't put advertising on my website because it is distracted, but if you can get specific sponsors like your Rebel and bring them on board and they don't do the typical in-your-face advertising, then go for it. But that's, once again, to my point to Jack before, it's about building relationships. So go to your local Rebel person, build a relationship with them, let them know what you're doing and have a conversation with them about how they can support you. They may even fund your jersey for you. That could be your immediate sponsor straight away that funds the jerseys for you, sponsored by Rebel, etc. Then you wear those jerseys on the court while you're filming, then you get your testimonials and things like that. So it's a multiple pronged approach that you're going to be looking at doing. Once again, to Tim's point, regional, fantastic. The internet's the way to go. Your Zoom one-on-ones I think is excellent. You charge for that. So you offer a little bit free, but then you have all these options where people can pay. Be clear around who your target audience is, who's receiving the product and who's paying for it. So that wasn't very clear in this process. So obviously correct me if I'm wrong, but the recipients of this process will be probably students, young people learning to play basketball, but the parents are the ones that are going to pay. So you've got very different messaging there. You need to be very clear on about who is receiving the product and who's paying for the product. So your value proposition, you need a bit more work on in that regard to who you're selling it to. Obviously, if the students love it and they put enough pressure on mum, they'll get mum to buy it. But if mum's also wanting a child to get off the couch and do something, then there's a very different message that you're going to send to mum.
I really liked it, guys. I thought again, what's nice is you all play basketball and you're passionate about it, aren't you? You're actually doing a sport. Sports are really good for people in physical terms. You know, you can, as long as everyone's going to do a big job, great. But doing sport is good for everybody, and it's good for your mind and body. So following your passion and doing something, and then trying to make money out of it. I'm always a big fan of it. I really am. Make money out of your passions, and you can go far. I don't know if you mentioned it, do you have anything on YouTube yet either?
Yes, we do. We've got a few videos on YouTube.
Because I'm following this YouTube channel about hockey. I play hockey, field hockey, and I don't know how they've grown it so well, but they get thousands and thousands of people. They're in Holland, and they don't even speak brilliant English, they're Dutch, but they've got thousands of people all following their skill sets, and they'll flick a ball through and show how they're going to score whatever they're doing, a drill. So have you found much luck you're doing a training session, putting it onto YouTube, and then getting the followers that way?
Because that's what we do, is we record our drills, and we take all of the highlights of the drills and we post them on Instagram with a link to the full video on YouTube with it being explained on YouTube.
It was interesting because on our first Instagram video we got over 600 views. And we want to translate that into like YouTube and onto other platforms to grow them as well.
I can really see it if you post maybe if you post to Instagram and then they follow through to the link on YouTube, and as you grow then get the YouTube followings happening, because for some reason that Dutch crew they get hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands on core skills in hockey, but you'll be doing core skills in basketball. And then I know the advertising malarkey that YouTube do is it must be every 5 minutes now on the videos that I watch, there's a a random advert that comes up, so they're making money that way as well. So you can do your $69.99 yearly and your pay for fees, but if you have a good following on YouTube, you can make money that way, like quite significant money as well. So what's the magic wand then? So you're trying to do your $15 domain. What are you looking for the DeLorean dollars if we were to invest?
Well, we'd be looking for the domain first, and other things we would need to look for would eventually be like our own filming and like recording stuff, so like a tripod for a camera or something like that, because out of school we won't have access to as much stuff to do that. So how much would a tripod?
I think your domain, let's say that you're trying to get Better Ballers Academy or whatever the domain
Is
might
it available?
We believe so. It
We
is.
have.
Quick search will be able to tell you.
I think you'd get certainly something like that in that.
Yeah,
and just be careful on your Better Ballers, just in case you get people looking for it, and it might be football. So you want to make sure.
Yeah, make sure.
You want to make sure. I would get the word basketball in there, because every time you search, because I've done this, if you get 80% search history and it ends up them looking for volleyball, you've lost 90% of your target audience. So try and get basketball. Yeah, and something funny. Can I give you $20 DeLorean? And that means I can pretty much, with the rest of it, you can add a domain name that fits your.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yes.
Cool. 3 minutes. Okay, cool.
Yeah, look, absolutely agree with everyone. What everyone's saying. As Helen said, Jackson's from Sports Cube is just an amazing young guy and has created something really special there. And I think the thing that he's done really well is he's built a community, a grassroots following. And I think what you need to do with yours is really build that connection to your audience and build a community around it, so that you guys are seen as the authority in that area, and that people feel part of BBA. Like, it's not just something that they go and watch, but they're part of the club type thing. So really build that camaraderie and that membership, that community around what you're building there. Agree with the whole idea around putting the basketball in there, because Google AdWords and SEO is all around the types of words that you're using. And there's a guy I know as well who I actually think he used to work for the Australian National Basketball League in their sponsorship area, and he lives on the Sunshine Coast now. Really good guy as well, and as I said, he's really involved in sponsorship for a whole range of different sports. Name's Aaron Flanagan, so I'll connect you with him as well, because I'm sure he'd love to talk to you about how you can commercialise that some more as well. So I'll give you 20 as well.
Thank you.
And on Jackson, people connect with Jackson. Now, Jackson was a team of 4, exactly like you when you went to Startup Weekend. He's whittled it down to 2 now. And the only one we think about when we see Sports Cube is Jackson. Okay, so create your own individual profiles as well. You are a collective, but people, once again, back to the same message, people buy from people. So develop your own personalities in those things. So there could be one of you doing one particular drill. If you've got a talent, like you're throwing it behind your head and it goes through that thing, develop those, put them out there if you've got those specific talents, because there could be one child that's sitting out there goes, oh, he's like me, and I'll buy from them, as opposed to, oh, I need to learn from basketball, actually he's buying from you. Okay, so develop your own individual profile as well, because people buy from people.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'll give 20 as well. Well done, John.
Thank you.
Come on, get your $4 Congratulations. Yeah.
Oh, can you? Indeed, you're okay. I am English.
It just changed for sometimes. It's glitching. It's like a having a seizure. Cool, where's that? And then I bring out a presentation.
Any that one. I'm doing
I'm gonna start again. Yeah, it's just being messed up. Sorry. Do you want anything else on this bit?
Wait, no, it's good. Okay, we got it. Good.
It's not as bad as I was. Oh, this is something. Oh, Urban Express.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Wait.
Guys, right?
Yep.
Take it away.
Everything good? Okay.
Hi, my name's Gus.
I'm
This is-
Tully.
I'm Indy.
Narissa.
And together we are the Urban Expresso.
Urban Espresso.
Imagine you're waking up to the sound of chirping birds. You wander down the stairs towards the kitchen. You look at the clock and boom, it's 6:30 and work starts at 7. So you jump in your clothes and you jump in your car and you speed going 110 down 70 down to work. As you walk into the building, boom, there's Urban Expresso. Okay, so since you missed breakfast because you were going to be late to work, you look over and they've got snacks, they've got scrolls, and they've got coffee. You wander over because there's no line. You grab your mochaccino for the morning and you grab your cinnamon scroll. And as soon as you order, 1 minute later, boom, your coffee and your scroll's right there ready for you to eat.
Cool.
Oh, the mouse decided.
Okay, some problems before we launch that we've noticed that by having the coffee van that we can fix is that at school teachers don't have access to proper barista made coffee, like they have the instant coffee in the office and that, and quality. Most businesses leave their customers in the dark about where their foods and supplies are sourced from, and large businesses also sacrifice on quality. The price, for example, commonly overpriced businesses, customers are deceived into the higher the price, the higher the quality, but sometimes that's not always the case. And for friendliness, businesses sometimes are only in it for the money, and customers sometimes feel unwelcome because you might not know it, but when the cashier feels stress, it can rub off onto the customer, and they also feel stressed and impatient. Some solutions that we've introduced by having a coffee van are, now that we're at school, teachers can purchase coffee online or in person, and we can deliver it, or they can pick up anytime they want. Quality, we have locally sourced beans and ingredients in coffee made by a passionate team who is enthusiastic. Our price is like a medium to average price because we don't want to rip anyone off, but when we need to make some money as well. So, but we have a high standard of excellence too, and friendliness. Presentation and friendliness are a really big thing to us, so we always are in it for a good chat, and so we've touched up the van as well. We've got some custom furniture and made out of recycled pallet crates. Yep.
So our products, we offer a range of popular drinks. So your basic coffees, we got hot chocolates, we got chai lattes. We have some ice drinks. That was actually recommended by us by one of our teachers. So we're like, okay, we'll start some ice drinks. During some special events, we offer some other things like snacks. For example, we just had the musical Oliver, and we served popcorn, lollies, chips, cookies, and donuts. And we also had poppers and, of course, some water.
Some of the positives that we've encountered this year are the coffee machine. The coffee machine has performed really well and has constantly produced great shots of coffee. Although we had a few hiccups in the start of the year with the coffee machine, the servicing guy didn't come. Anyway, Another positive that we have is our organisation. We all turn up at 7:30 on a Wednesday morning and set up the van, and then we assign jobs which include coffee shops, milk, frothing, customer service, and coffee runner.
Some negative things that we've encountered so far this term. They're probably the card reader. So it's really outdated and mucks up a lot. So we're looking to replace that soon. And also we're looking for a pitcher rinser sink for our milk jugs to stop the spread of contamination, and it will also reduce our risk of getting burnt from tipping into the coffee machine.
Some finances up here. Our total expenses are $1,800. Total income $2,100, and our profit, we've only made a profit of $251.
Yeah, we're just cruising right now.
Profits.
Yeah.
Profits.
We
We're getting there though.
We haven't actually put the profit in from our musical recently, but the expenses in there right now. So we calculated that today.
So there have been some struggles this year, but we have overcome everything 2020 has thrown at us. COVID, online school, social distancing, and lack of supplies. We've been set back for a few months. We didn't start when we originally wanted to start, so we started later on. As for example, the coffee team last year started earlier on.
Yeah, we pushed back by I think a term and a half because of online school and all that.
Yeah, so we also had to pay for we're still working on paying back some things. We've the major expenses we've had our servicing of the coffee machines, our training, and just some other stuff that we've had to buy.
Our target market, so our current target market has been mainly the fabulous teaching staff, and we are happy to provide them with the required caffeine fix during the day. Lately we have had the primary school students lining up in rows in desperate need for our fabulous hot chocolate. Our biggest competitors we face are the local coffee shops that have been the favourites of the staff on their way to school. However, we can provide a faster and more convenient fix, and we can take your order both electronically and in person, delivering right into your hands wherever and whenever you need, no questions asked. In order to keep our current customers and entice more, we need to consider those that might not drink coffee. We recently started making delicious cold caffeinated beverages, but we need to start providing other options such as a range of teas and decaf.
Some of the social media efforts that we've put in, we've created Facebook, Instagram account, and a Gmail account. So you can follow us there for regular updates and offers. Like the bring your own cup and get a free snack one, which was one of our most recent ones.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions or anything?
Really well done. I'll go first. Do you know? Is this the coffee cart that's the one on campus that from the previous
Yeah,
year?
it's that black one, and we just got wood detailing.
Yeah. We're hoping to open and bring you guys up a coffee today as well. Yeah.
No, we saw your profit loss. Don't do that. Don't do it. Keep the money. No. So first thing I want to say is that the what I like about coffee, sort of small businesses, is that what you've done in your presentation, I love, is that you've got a profit and a loss, and you've got your accounts, and who put the Excel spreadsheet together? Really well done. And if you can put an Excel spreadsheet together, your wage, and I saw little tabs along the bottom, and I'm sure you kind of little adding and minus things in it. All these things are absolutely the fundamentals of business. There's no other way to describe business other than some money comes in, I've got to pay for my inventory and stock, and what's left is mine. So what I love about that, I wrote down, have you ever heard of the words of a lady called Abigail Forsyth? Abigail Forsyth, she runs a company called Keep Cup, which is bringing in sort of cups, reusable cups. Anyway, her story is that she started a coffee cart. She's a multi-millionaire. She's been worldwide. She's launched in Europe, America, and she makes reusable cups now, but she started a chain called Blue Bags about 15 years ago and made, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 different coffee chains, different franchises called Blue Bags, sold those and makes reusable cups. But if you can get the basics of a business with ins and outs on coffee, you'll pretty much know it for the rest of your lives. So congrats, that's what I wanted to say first off. I'll let you guys talk.
Thank you.
Yeah, excellent. So I agree with the fundamentals. The budget tells the story of the work of the business and the work that's been done. In your presentation, though, I wouldn't have put that spreadsheet there because I couldn't read. We could tell what it was all about and all the details, but I couldn't really read the detail. And so a better story that you might have told with that particular slide was that you had this percentage increase from last year to this year type thing. So show your growth story, and so we don't necessarily need to know your losses. We want to hear the story about how it's growing, and even if it's only $200, like that, and we only made $100 last year. You've had 100% increase in profits. So that tells the story.
Doubled your profits.
Yeah, that's right. Doubled your profits. So don't tell us how much the profits were though, because in the Shark Tank scenario, we would ask that question anyway. But the thing that we would remember is that you doubled your profits. So just that's that.
Thank you.
So is the coffee van, is it mobile?
Yeah. We can move it around. So like for Friday night and Saturday night, it was up near our sports hall, and we can. It's just basically a trailer. Yeah. So we'll take it to carnivals, but at the moment it's at the bottom of the
front
library.
of the library.
Yeah, great. Okay, because I was, location. So where it is now is perfect. Like you're right in that big open area, but. And you said you did the Oliver production. That's great. What are the other opportunities that you can do across the broader community? School fetes, community events where you might be able to take that to, where you can potentially earn some money as well and get the brand out there a bit more through your socials and whatnot too. So,
are you allowed to take the cart to other places?
Yeah, we can take it to other places. So, under the community, this is places that we're hoping to branch out to sooner or later. But at the moment, we're just in the school. But we'd love to open up and go everywhere.
We're still getting a little bit comfortable with like bigger events. We just still we kind of know what works and what doesn't work, but we just got to get comfortable with where we are.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you ever been to Point Cartwright on a Sunday? Do you know Point Cartwright? Right. So I go surfing there. There's a coffee shop there right on the corner. I know the owner. But he doesn't open on a Sunday. So there's no one ever. There's 100% captive audience on a Sunday in that car park. And I saw once ever that a coffee cart pitched up there. And I don't know how much money they made. There must have been about 300 coffees sold in a fairly short period of time. Not during this the winter side, but as you approach into the summer. But I'm just looking at you going, you would make, if they're allowed to do it.
They're not, no.
Are they not allowed to do that?
So from council's perspective,
council.
So from council's perspective, you can't just rock up at that place like that. But what you can do is apply for a commercial use on community land permit. And again, as you're ready to do that, that's something that you can do. Maybe after school as well, after school is finished. At those kind of locations, because you're spot on. Not all cafes open at certain times because of their own reasons and whatnot. So there is those opportunities too, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. And do you have a kind of actually just on your market as well? Are the parents, obviously got hundreds of parents dropping kids off all the time? Yeah.
We usually would be, but parents are still not allowed on campus because of COVID. But maybe if we had enough time, we were thinking of dropping online orders when they come past. But we haven't actually done that. But it was something we might have. and playing around.
Yeah, that online orders are
Or like
great.
we send out a survey before every Wednesday, and the teachers can do an online order.
So maybe thinking about something maybe for parents.
Yeah, because I can't come in.
Absolutely, that's cool. And do you have like a rewards program or some kind of customer loyalty program as well that you can build on, so that every 10th coffee is free and those kind of things?
Not at the moment. The closest we've come to that was a BYO cup and get a free snack.
Yeah.
But because we're only a few weeks opening this term, we haven't really branched out into that many things. But it's a good idea.
Yeah, and these are all ideas kind of in a post-COVID world too as well. So, but yeah, they're all good things to check out potentially. So.
So you've inherited a coffee cart from last year.
Yeah.
So I would have liked to have seen what you had done with it this year, the story.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
the story that was missing in this, and COVID has completely shattered a lot of the things that you were going to do. So I would be looking for where's the message of what you decided to do in this current situation. So you can't go to events, you can't do all these things. How are you going to use the coffee cart this year to learn other skills and other opportunities? Or are you going to focus on really nailing down on the financials, which didn't require you to be in front of people? Were you looking at maybe learning to do more of a maintenance on it yourself rather than other people? How are you going to use the current situation to pivot the way you are running your business to learn other things?
Yeah.
Because you inherited something, and I was wanting to know what you were going to do with it under the current environments with what you inherited. So unlike a lot of the other enterprises that are going to come up today, you didn't create this from scratch, you inherited it. So I would have been looking at the story about what you hope to do with it this year. COVID hit, we pivoted, we went and did this, and this is what we've learned. We hope when things open up, this is our plan to do this. Those are the sort of things I would have been looking for in that. We've got great suggestions. A couple of things. You said you've got your coffee is supplied by a private supplier. Who's that?
Oh, that's Greg Modlin, one of our teachers at school. His brother is a barista trainer, and he also supplies his own beans. And so we subscribe to his beans. Like they're $30 a kilo. We get them each week.
Okay, well you need to hit him up for a bit more than that and put him as a sponsor. So I'd hit him up for more than that. So I'm happy to buy your beans from you and be a supplier, but we want you to come on as a sponsor. And if he starts talking at that, I'll give you a name of someone else.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Because he will get kudos through that process by supporting the school and supporting what you're doing and the enterprising activity that you're doing.
Yeah.
Hitting up for that, so your profit now goes up from $250 to $350 because he's giving you an extra $100 as a sponsor.
Yeah.
And he can then use that to promote out to what he's doing with his customers and showing the support. If he doesn't do that, come back to me and I'll introduce you to Karen at Montville Coffee and see if they're interested in it.
Cool.
Okay, thank you. And Karen is very community, social minded. They're a B Corp,
Stay in touch with Helen.
social
You'll see your
enterprise. Huh?
You'll see them right. Good stuff.
Yeah, you know, so that you have some value to add other than the coffee cup. You're enterprising, you're in a school that's showing enterprising, you're providing a community benefit, so align yourself with people that are also providing community benefit and work the thing together. Start venturing out into some of those healthy smoothies. Coffee's great, but sometimes when you're getting up at 6:30 and you've got to be at work at 7, sometimes a Shrek green drink might be what you need when you want to get off in the morning or something like that, so venture out into some of those healthy things. I'm always about waste. How are you managing your waste, your coffee waste, the spent grounds, the leftover food, all that sort of stuff. Look at what you're doing with that and think about if you're doing that in a very responsible way, that's part of your unique selling proposition as well. Okay, so if it's going into the school gardens or something like that, you need to be letting people know that the waste that you're generating is actually going back into the earth, creating these lovely tomatoes that the school is using in the tuck shop and that whole circular story that needs to be also promoted out there. So you're not just coffee, you need to think bigger. Much bigger than just coffee.
Yeah, thank you. That's it. So, on the DeLorean dollars, I saw that you're looking for. Are you trying to get a square read? Is that what it said?
Yeah.
So what do you use at the moment? Do you have
We use this little PayPal thingy.
Yeah, you're trying to get the square one.
Yeah, because we're having, it's like outdated, we're having problems
The
with
square's
certain
great.
cards not
Yeah, you can
using.
get an office works. Can I give you 25 DeLorean dollars, please, to put towards a square?
Yep, and then
pin?
20 towards that as well.
Because do you know where you can buy them and get them in Office Works?
Yeah.
Get a little square one, stick it at the back of the machine, log into Square, and then it literally is just tap and go, yeah?
Thank you.
Because I think square or any quick chip and pin thing, it makes it really quick for your customers to buy.
Imagine a world without power, no light, no heat, no movement, no coding, no cooling, no gaming. No gaming, no life. And if you're married, no wife. Hi Sharks, we are Magnogenic. I'm Thomas, this is Duncan, this is Oliver, and this is Stephen. And today we are presenting you our pitch for the magnetic power generator and the turbine water generator. This is designed to reuse wastewater and is also eco-friendly and low cost to use. It is customer friendly and can be brought with you anywhere, and we are hoping to show this product to the world and hopefully help people with energy saving problems. This will, seeming as electricity bills are slowly increasing each year, this will put an end to that and will decrease the cost of it, while also helping with recycling and lowering carbon dioxide releases into the air. Duncan will elaborate on this about the water turbine.
So I've got this little turbine here, and basically we're going to put it in a little kit thing, and it'll just plug onto under your sink or shower or bathtub, and every time you waste water and it goes down, it'll spin this, which will generate a bit of power, which will then go in a battery for use later on whenever you need to. Also, when it starts to wear out, you'll just twist it, pull it out, and then put a new one in so that it still generates full power. And we're thinking of gearing it for a more expensive one. You gear it up so it spins faster, generating more power. That's what we're thinking with the water generator. Oliver will explain the generator.
Not yet. Elaborating on Thomas's carbon dioxide problem, it is that in the Industrial Revolution, coal production went skyrocketing for electricity use. It is increasing the carbon dioxide dramatically, as shown in the graph. Carbon dioxide is harmful for the environment because it increases global warming, and because it creates a greenhouse effect where the heat from it can't escape through the atmosphere, so it gets trapped and heats up the earth. So yeah, this is a diagram type of thing that we're going to be using for our generators. It is powered by magnets. The motors are powered by magnets. For caravans and cars, we can attach it to the axle so that it uses the kinetic energy used from that, like the wasted energy, to charge a power pack or something. So, because people need electricity for when they go camping, and sometimes generators are really loud and they can't use it in certain areas, so they have to use a quieter means of electricity.
Okay.
This is Stephen talking.
I am going to explain the ask and what we are asking for. But first I want to explain how we're going to hopefully earn money by. We're going to try and make different levels of our product. So we'll have a simple standard editions having basic benefits, then a exclusive or premium one which would have better benefits compared to the others. To re-explain Oliver's axle, so let's say I'm going on to a camping trip. I will connect my motor to the axle of the camper or the vehicle itself. As you travel to your destination, it will generate power by using the north and south and positive, negative transformation of the magnet in the motor, which will create energy, increase it so you can connect to your fridge, TV, or so on that's in the camper van. We have an offer from a teacher at the school, Ziza van der Walt, who owns the company Try On Slide On Campers. She said she will help us move into the marketing business area and show us into the world by using her products. We're hoping to ask for contacts, references, money support, more experience in the marketing and simple design support within an area. Thank you.
Is there anything else you want to add that you've forgotten in this process? Just quickly. I know you finished up. Is there anything that you've forgotten? Because we'll have lots of questions. No?
Hit us with questions.
So I'll start. There was probably a lot of kinks in your presentation. You have a very technical product. So straight away when you have a technical product, you've got to strip it right back. So probably the best part of the presentation was your story, the storytelling of how it will clip onto the trailer, it will create the energy that it allows them to use in the camper van. So storytelling is a really powerful way of actually articulating a technical product, because you're actually allowing people who are non-technical to grasp the concept of what you're trying to do without having to understand the technical aspects of it all. So I put down here for your unique selling proposition is that you're creating new sources of energy that are carbon neutral. So you probably didn't need to go into the whole carbon story. That probably took away from your presentation. You needed to stay with what you were creating and actually just say it's carbon neutral. You're making a positive impact with greenhouse gases. So a general statement like that would have been enough without having to put a slide in there. And this comes with experience. So don't beat yourselves up at all. You know, you've got a technical product and it's always harder to pitch a technical product than it is anything else. I love the message about using the wasted water. So the other complication is you've got two messages in your presentation. You know, two messages, and although they are linked around energy efficiency and how you're using the axle on the trailer as one way of creating energy, and then wasted water is another way of creating energy. I mean, I got that, but they're two very different products that you're trying to actually articulate there. So one way that you can do that is focus more on the problem you're solving and the general solution, that you're creating more efficient sources of energy that were already available, and we were just providing a technical solution that captured those opportunities that are currently laying dormant around there. So your waste message around water is a really powerful one. The amount of water we waste, in fact, water is going to be the next major currency out there. It won't be money, it'll be water, and we're already starting to see that water is going to be a major currency out there. So you've got lots of opportunities. Who is helping you around on the technical stuff? Have you got a mentor that's helping you around?
Yes, we do. Brad Hampson right there.
Brad, you're helping you on the technical stuff? I think you guys are absolutely onto something. Spend some time working out your minimal viable product. Like if you could bring a demonstration in of an axle or something like that and attach it to it and demonstrating it to us, fantastic. So spend some time on developing a minimal viable product. You've got something already started. Show me how that works. All it is it's just a thing for me. But if you can show me how it works and how it's creating the energy and how water is trickling through that and how it speeds up and then how it's captured into it, and if you can't do that in a physical way, an illustration that actually shows where a shower, how you're attaching it under the shower, where the battery sits in relation to the shower, how the battery then goes back into how we're going to use it as energy, that would be fantastic.
Okay, listen guys, I'm always really excited and thrilled when someone takes on really challenging projects. I think last year there was a trio that took on sort of a drone project to minimise the flights where the drones will accidentally go out of bound in terms of height and altitude. And I thought that was a technical project, but I think yours is a very challenging project as well. So I take my hat off to it, because it uses quite a lot of brain power to actually even come up with an MVP. So I say good effort and well done there. For me, where this goes forward, and of course, free energy or sustainable energy, all of these are the buzzwords of the future. This is, let's get rid of these carbon emissions, get rid of petrols and diesels, and you mentioned coal. how can we use either a magnetic coil and a rod and make electricity, or your hydroelectric, which is your water coming down, turning a turbine and creates power. How do we do those two? So I really like it. The only question is, have you thought more about your kind of MVP? I can see you've got the water sort of turbine there. Is that the MVP, or what does the next phase look like?
Probably putting it in the casing and actually testing it with the water. And
Is this down the plug hole sink one?
Yeah. Just putting it in the thing that you can just screw on, and then basically testing, seeing how that works, how much power we can get out of it.
And then what, link it up? Is it an ounce meter, or to see how much current you get through? Is that what you're trying to do?
See how much we can get out of it.
Okay, I would have been, do you know what, on this presentation, I would have loved to see, I know you've had COVID, we've had Zoom and things, we've missed out a period of time, but to see that, I'd love to see what current we get out of it, or what power, and then we'll know more on your project. Let him speak.
Yeah, it's spot on. Like, I think, you know, even if you lit up a light bulb as part of the presentation using you know, it's a bit of an experiment, you know, like it kind of, it's that light bulb moment literally, like that, you know, that we'd want to see. And you started really well with the, you know, imagine a world, you know, like it kind of drew us into, you know, the scene that you're creating, and you know, that probably just needed to be, as Helen said, like taken across the rest of the presentation as well. And you know, we understand the effects of global warming and stuff like that. It's a good point to make, but as Helen said, you know, you could have maybe done that a little bit differently. So definitely not a criticism, but just some advice there. And I think, you know, how is the consumer going to use this? So looking at that, it looks quite technical, and my mind said, okay, so do I need a plumber to install that, or do I need an electrician to install that, or do I need both to install that? And if it's not, then, you know, it's you know, the device that anyone can install is part of your MVP. You know, like if it all it takes is someone to kind of reach under their sink, connect it up really easily, and that's going to create that hydro electricity for them, then that's great. If it's more detailed than that, then that's fine as well. But just to be clear, so what people can understand what they need to expect there. Sounds like you've got some great connections with Ziza there, and you know, that's something that you can definitely expand on there. What materials are you going to use to make them? Is it like 3D printed, or is it how do you what's it actually made out of?
This one's just made out of plastics.
Yeah.
We haven't got that far along yet, so we don't exactly know.
Yeah, we'll start to think about, you know,
we are
the
moving
materials
into
that you might
3D
use,
printing.
whether you know you're creating a really sustainable product. So is it made from sustainable materials, and how are you sourcing those and being able to have the whole supply chain of what you create telling the same story as the product that you're creating. Yeah. And on the first slide, it had at the bottom there the really small writing, designed by B. Bell. Who's B. Bell?
One of the teams in there had actually designed this for me, or our group.
Yeah.
So I thought I might say we have.
Perfect. Yeah.
Others.
That's good. Yeah, I just wasn't too sure if it was like, you know, somebody owns the content or the IP already that wasn't here. So yeah.
No, I was notifying that we've started to work with others.
Yeah, great. That's good. That's it from me.
Yeah, keep going. I think the world needs more of these sort of enterprising activities, and be aware it'll be a long process as you develop that. But if you're absolutely committed to it, it'll change the world. Check out, I've written on here, check out Nick from Powerwells. Nick and his partner through Startup Weekend again are using e-waste to build free electricity that they're taking into third world countries so people can charge their phones and access lights and things like that. So a very similar story to what you're trying to do, back to your messaging. So check out his story and what he's doing and how he's doing it as well.
There's a guy called Trevor Bayliss as well who did the wind-up clock. Look up his story on Wikipedia. A guy who does, you know, like a wind-up radio and then a wind-up torch. So he's using kinetic energy, move it around, and it creates a coil and creates the power for 40-50 seconds for the power. But if you just read, if you're looking for ever inspiration about a project like this, read Sir Trevor Bayliss's Wikipedia thing, and he'll show you the money that you can make out of a project that goes commercially viable and goes really well. DeLorean project, dollars-wise, what is it? if you're looking for MVP, you're doing some test marketing, what is it you need some dollars for?
I'm gonna say we need money for just having products that we can use to make our simple designs to test and improve in our design. At the moment, we're just mainly looking for better experience in the design area and references to help us understand better.
So like materials to design and manufacture. Okay. Can I give you $20 DeLorean to use and then take it to try and make sure you get a bit of a better or a more working prototype? Is that cool?
Yeah,
that's what I'd like to do.
I think the key is going to be getting some really good mentors. Brad is some really good engineers that can actually help you build on this. So Tim and I put our brains together to see if there's anyone out there. I know someone who is actually a retired engineer out of council who is all about kinetic energy and magnetic energy and all that sort of stuff, and see what his appetite is to maybe come and talk to you as well. But getting some really good mentors around you will be key.
Yeah, absolutely. There is a couple of people who I can think of in council as well, John Rose and whatnot, who are hydro engineers and whatnot, but also working with the university, so they offer an engineering course there, and Helen Fairweather heads up that.
Smart lady.
Yeah, very smart, and she is often looking for real world projects for her students to get involved in. So connect you to Helen and see if you can get some students from the university to collaborate with you on this. And as we said to Jack at the beginning, the first presentation, you want to really understand your IP, intellectual property relating to this product as well, and make sure that it isn't you've locked down your component of what this might be. So, have a chat to Helen from USC as well, and great idea and very well needed in the world. So.
She'll probably love your idea at Startup Weekend. She pitched a water initiative at Startup Weekend a couple of years back. So she'll probably love what you're looking at doing.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, just running some notes, sorry.
Just wait for the thumbs up for the stream.
Who here loves a long, hot shower? Who eases their life's problems under running hot water? Who sings in the shower or practices their pitch? Every day here in Australia, the recommended 4-minute shower uses around 40 litres of water per person, or 160 litres per household, or 1 billion litres per day Australia-wide. And that's just for the recommended 4-minute shower. But who has a 4-minute shower? And who wants a 4-minute shower? The average shower is actually around 7.5 minutes, equivalent to 32,850 litres of water per person per year. As a country, Australia spends $17.2 million on water wastage and salination issues, while using up to 8,500 gigalitres a year in the shower alone, and that's around 17 Sydney harbours, according to our government. It's likely that as I talk to you about this, you might feel some guilt remembering how much you spent on your last water bill. So what can help aid our water crisis and keep us singing in the shower? The solution is here. Right here.
Plumbing device attachable to the shower will successfully decrease the daily water wastage in your showers and therefore benefit the customer and environment. This is Ada. She spends the advised time in the shower, unlike most of her friends, and still ends up spending over $300 each quarter on her water bill. The Australian government estimates that at least 34% of that bill comes straight from the time we spend in the shower. Ada is environmentally conscious and on a budget like most of us, but all of the options she's looked into aren't right for her. I am confident that my basic design suits the need I aim to fill and rivals competitors in uniqueness. With some incremental improvement, I've taken the idea of a regular portable camp shower and redesigned the potential in this existing product. The Eco Shower's latest design is fully movable for the customer, a plug attached to a small heated tank that can sit against or behind your shower, with customizable features to suit the room. When you're cleaned off, you can attach the plug into or over your drain, and the water will quickly pump through the pipes and tank to come back through your shower head, creating a simple and effective water cycle. Clean, hot, practically endless and costless water without wasting a millimeter for as long as the user wants. Ada makes her own judgment and purchases the Eco Shower device. Immediately she's saving money and water with no effort while enjoying easily reduced bills and guiltless singing in the shower. Ada's friends are potential customers. This is a globally useful device. I understand that my product, like in any market, has competition, and I have taken this into account when designing certain aspects. My main competitors are shower loop and orbital showers. However, the first is more of a complicated DIY product, and the second is an extremely expensive device. Therefore, while my idea does not focus on recycling water from beginning to end like shower loop, or in-shower touchscreens like orbital showers, I am still aiming to offer the same ideals as these companies, just cheaper and easier for the customer. But don't take my word for it. This product's concept has already been judged by another set of panelists a few years ago and won a water conservation competition out of 20 or so other products. A teacher at this school who works in the business has also commented that she believed this product would work well with the limited space in the 600,000 licensed Australian caravans. Additionally, the Queensland Chief Entrepreneur Leanne Kemp favoured my idea out of all of the ingenious ones here at DeLorean. And all of this validation and praise received from this idea only brings me more confidence to what the Eco Shower could be capable of. Pupils at Quiz admitted to spending anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour in the shower per day, and all agreed that they could see the potential in this product too. As a student specialising in English rather than a professional plumber, I can't take a stand and say exactly what this product will cost in production and future repairs, but if the models I'm comparing my research against are correct, then the product could sell at anywhere between $300 to $500, which is cheap in the face of quality goods.
So there are some plumbing or engineering companies who will design products such as this one. Many who I'm sure would be willing to work with a student like myself with an idea for change. Partnering with one of these companies, finding some mentors in the industry, and getting my product out there is the ultimate goal. Any contacts or constructive criticism I can receive from you today would be priceless. I should also mention that the name is already used for a different company, but the market position and all the qualities for this project still stand.
Right, okay, well done. This is another sort of those challenging projects. First off, I like the presentation, and I like the way you put it all together, and I especially liked your introduction because it was a very obvious, clear message. What are the pains and gains? We want to have longer showers, but we don't want to waste all the water. So, you know, water usage is one of the big ones. And, I mean, we're in a hot country here. There's some countries that aren't as interested, but let's say the majority of the world, let's say the majority is interested in water and not wasting it. So it's a big project to get your teeth into.
Yes.
So that's all I can say. That's a big thing. Where are you on a sort of MVP design or on the building blocks of the product, so to speak?
Right, so as I said at the very end of my speech, I don't have the skills to make a prototype or design it, but I have reached out to some other companies who build and make plumbing things for a living, and there are lots of different opportunities for me to get free quotas and some basic designs from them.
Okay. Just trying to desperately work out how to take this forward. Because for me, normally, I want to try and get a person to kind of bring in the product.
So the first thing, to take something like this forward, you need to understand who is your target market.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
once you understand clearly on who will be buying this, then you can start looking around those sort of people. So if it's specifically, like I put down there, tiny houses straight away. So I'd be looking at some of the leaders in the tiny house space that might be interested in this product, and they can then champion what you're trying to do, and they become part of a collaboration. So get clear on it. I think caravans, people go to caravan parks, they've got access to showers, that's all taken care of. But I think the tiny house movement, which needs a lot more support around it, this product could be absolutely perfect for that. So have a look at who are the influencers in that, who are creating composting toilets. They might be interested in this product as an adjunct to their composting toilets, because what you're doing is concept is around the circular economy, keeping everything used all the time so it doesn't become waste. And then when you're in a tiny space, you want to make sure that everything you create is efficiently used and never wasted. So I'd look at your tiny houses tiny house market as a potential, and then look at people within that tiny house market who are in their whole plumbing, composting toilet, shower, have a look at who the leaders are in that, and then start making some phone calls and let them know, I'm a student, this is an idea I've got, I'd like to work with you on it. You've got to get down to niche, really down into niche with a product like this, and find out who you're going to, what they call as your early adopters, who is going to be the person who goes, oh, I think I can see a real opportunity here and a real market for this, I'm going to jump on early. So don't go to your mass market, go really thin and deep as much as you possibly can with this particular product. Once you've got a market like the tiny houses and you've got people that are now actually building it into their tiny houses, then you can start branching out and actually got some other opportunities.
Thank you.
Great advice. And there's a guy called Jimmy and a group called Polka Dot Communities who are a tiny house movement on the Sunshine Coast, and you probably know him. And again, Helen Fairweather at USC, from an engineering students, might be good to talk to as well. So when you said with the name, so on our sheet here it's got SS Shower and then you've got Eco Shower. So which is the name you're going with, and who's the competitor that has the name already?
So at the moment, Eco Shower is E/CO is a name being used. I want to change it to something similar. Obviously, I'm working with a couple of different ideas, but SS Shower, I've thought about it and it's just not appropriate from a historical point of view. So
don't get too caught up on the name.
Exactly.
Get caught up on the problem that you're solving. That's what you've got to get really clear on. What is the problem that you're solving, and get really clear on that. Don't get caught up on the name. Because if you find the right collaborator, all that time you spent creating a name will probably be gone, because the collaborator will come in and have other ideas on what a name you could use. So get really clear on the problem that you're solving, and then who is the target market, what is the value you're giving them. Those are the things that you should be spending most of your time on.
Awesome.
And the tagline I love is keep singing in the shower. Like, I think that's a really good thing to hang your hat on as well. Not the name, obviously, not making the name, but as a bit of a tagline. It really kind of, if you know that you're doing good in the for the environment, then you're happy, and if you're happy, you're singing. So I think that kind of keep singing in the shower is a great thing. You're really well researched. All the facts and figures really paint the picture and tell a story about the usage of water. And I've got 4 kids, so there's 6 in our family, and the water usage is just through the roof. Like, even though it's like, get out of the shower, then
bathtub at the same time.
Yeah, true. That's right.
Shower.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right now, installed.
I can see this and being really useful. And so the what was I going to ask then? Sure. What was I going to say? Oh, so just to clarify. Did you say the water comes through the drain and then recycled? Is it recycled and filtered, obviously, through the?
Yes. So there's there'd be pressurizers, temperature moderators, filters, but you will find all of those tiny devices in regular portable camp showers, which is what my device is based on. That idea. I did go through heaps of different designs. I really thought this through. As I said, I used this idea for a competition 3 years ago, and it won straight out, but I haven't been able to produce it yet, as of yet.
Yeah, great, okay.
You need partners.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is a big project.
And I think, understanding who the end consumer is going to be, but who those partners are going to be, and who the wholesalers might be as well, that are actually going to, they're the ones that you're going to sell to, and then they're going to sell to the consumers potentially. So there's 2 different kind of customers that you're going to be targeting in the way you sell and promote the product. So, excellent, really important project, and good luck with it all.
Thanks.
In terms of DeLorean dollars, we haven't done this before.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, we'll give you a little clap. Is the forward motion to try and develop an MVP and get some partners?
Absolutely.
Because it's a really worthy project, I'd like to give you 30, and you're doing it on your own, and I do see it as an important part of our the water challenge we've got. I'd like to give you $30 million to put towards whatever might need for your either partnership or materials or making it. That's cool.
Thank you so much.
I'll give you $40. And there's also another group called Clean Tech Industries Sunshine Coast, who I'll connect you with as well, who would be really good to talk to.
Thanks.
focus on partners.
Yes.
Money's great, but at home you need partners. So find people to support your idea and come on board, and then you never know what will flow from that.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Good morning. My name is Georgia. This is Olivia, Amelie, and Abby. Together, we are Koa Beauty. Healthy skin, happy life. Young people worldwide struggle and lose confidence when their skin is not at its healthy best. Oily, pimply skin creates pain and suffering. Problematic skin can even lead to many people having serious mental anguish. Teenagers, female and male, hide at home and avoid hanging with friends when their skin breaks out. Girls don't want to kiss boys and boys don't want to kiss girls when pimples are in the picture.
Skincare isn't just superficial or meaningless. It has the power to change lives by boosting self-confidence and improving people's mental health. Our team is passionate about skincare, as we all have experienced times when our confidence has been negatively impacted due to bad skin. Low self-esteem is an issue many teens face during their lives. For many years, skincare products have been marketed to be completely different depending on your gender. Skincare has been stereotyped to be a feminine thing and something men should be ashamed to be interested in. This can be seen by the stereotypically feminine or masculine sense to the colour of bottles or jars. Most skincare brands operate with a female consumer in mind, leaving men to use products infused with the smell of wood or other manly scents. Our motivation is to simplify skincare routines by creating products which can be used by both genders, including avoiding complicated skincare routines in love. So this is our MVP. If you want, you can try it, put it on your hand.
Yeah. Super. Oh wow.
Our first product which we have created is a vegan and environmentally friendly charcoal mask, which targets females and males. It is a trendy idea that can be adapted by teenagers everywhere to feel comfortable with using skincare, no matter whether you're a male or female.
After completing a survey which was sent out to the students and teachers of the school, we received 172 responses, mainly from teens with the occasional adult. The survey gave us valuable information about what our product should include and what people were looking for in their skincare products. The responses received were from 80% women and 20% men, and out of both genders, only 70% use skincare products. In response to why they don't use skincare, many individuals stated that it was because only females use that stuff and because I'm a guy. Others mentioned that it was due to products being too harsh on their skin, and some are generally overwhelmed by the amount of products available and were unsure where to start. This survey was extremely important to kickstart our business venture, as we received valuable information that helped us identify the need for simplified products. We asked what other brands people used and why. We got a lot of responses saying that vegan and environmentally friendly products were better, as they didn't have as many chemicals. Others mentioned that they used certain products because they were cheap and affordable. There is a high interest in skincare companies that target acne and sensitive skin. We had 42% people say that they would try our product and 42% said they were interested in it. Our team has also reached out to other skincare companies who are more than happy to give advice on how to further our skincare company.
The jar in front of me today is a small sample of our charcoal matcha mask. After careful research, we've created our ideal product. Made from 100% vegan and organic ingredients, Koa Beauty strives to provide nothing but natural, high-quality skincare products that are soothing on the skin. Our goal for our business is to sell at least 15 jars of 100ml products by the end of the year. Our marketing audience being teenagers, both male and female. We have an Instagram page that also has a lot of interest and displays our progress and product. We have started to create a website as well to sell our products on. We've had multiple people contact us for information about our products. Some people have even asked for to pre-order them. To create our prototype, it costs around $80 to buy all the raw materials that make up our charcoal mushroom face mask. These materials were bought without bulk buying. Warehouses that have found bulk build products and sell for much cheaper prices, which we will target in the future.
As a team, we're looking for support or any ideas you may have to improve our products and funding of material so that we can continue making more products. Healthy skin, happy life. Get cool, get co-op. The charcoal mask that everyone loves. Thank you for listening.
Really cool. Like the presentation, and I really like the branding as well. You're one of the first teams to come with sort of a holistic branding overview of actually what the brand might look like. So really, really, really cool. Can I ask the first question is, do you know on the type of skincare regime, obviously we've gone for a mask. Is it because masks are underused or overused, or it's a big percentage of people that use masks, or why a mask as opposed to any other of the skincare?
So when we were looking at what products we should create, we kind of thought with the first products we're thinking of creating more products, but we wanted to start with something simple. And when making like cleansers and things like that, there's multiple skin types. So a mask is more suited to like most people with, they don't have to have a specific cleanser for like sensitive skin. You can use it for whatever. Yeah, it's a wide range of.
So it's like kind of an easier product to get into the market with, rather than a moisturizer.
A moisturizer.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And then on your on the charcoal, because nice one. Congrats. You've got this is a working MVP. This is it. You've got a product. So kudos there. Well done. Because it's very easy to do a lot of work and not actually have the physical product. Have you got the market results of people who have used this? Because I saw you said you've got 45% of people use or don't use something like that. But have you got a study saying we've 10 people who used it and liked it?
We haven't got too far. So back here we had the boys try it, and we had Georgia try it, and Georgia said it left her with nice
my
smooth
skin.
And I also tried it, and so did Armley at home, and we thought it left us with nice skin. We didn't have any reactions, and I've got quite sensitive skin.
So we made sure that we tested it on ourselves before we tried it on.
Yeah, we haven't got that far.
No one had a bad reaction to
it.
And so
except
after
the
we tried
boys
it
who
on
don't get a
ourselves,
choice.
we went and we got some of the other students to try it and see what they thought of it.
Okay, cool.
So most people commented they like the smell and like the texture of the mask, and your skin
cooling.
It's cooling.
Cooling, yeah.
So we're looking at those.
Oh, you've definitely got to document that and basically put together some sort of chart or sort of testimonials and say, out of 50 people who tried it, boys and girls, we've got a 98% love rate, because then that will get you onto the selling side.
Last week was the only time we only started making it last week.
Oh, right.
It's like when people.
Oh, cool. Right. Yeah.
So we're still at quite an early stage, but
Alright, cool. That's all.
Done really well. Like the presentation is very sleek and very good, and the branding is really nice. Like, what does koa mean? Like,
so at the start, it stands for koala, because we had like this completely different idea, and then we kind of just took the name Koa Beauty, and it kind of sounded good, so we're like, we'll stick with this one, and it sounds kind of professional in our opinion.
It does. Yeah, it sounds really good. I thought it was like maybe a Maori word or something like that, but no, it's just from koala. But yeah, that's cool. But I think in developing it, developing the story about how you come up with that name, and even if you create a story, not necessarily like a koala, but create a story about what koa means to you, and having some meaning around that. So that's all good. So you said you wanted to sell 15 jars by the end of 2020, and the materials cost you $80 to make. How much are you going to sell for? You might mention that. Sorry, I got to miss it.
We haven't really, because when we first bought our materials, we didn't really look into bulk buying, and we found other companies that sold it for much cheaper. So it's depending
larger
on
quantities.
It's depending on what we can find in other warehouses, which we have found.
Yeah, but generally it's very expensive, like face care and stuff. So I think maybe like $10.
Yeah.
Like something.
10 to
10 to
15.
15.
Yeah.
Because it's larger jars than that. That's just like a small MVP. But it'll be 100 mils, so $10 to $15.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah, I think understanding your materials costs, and even if that's once you're able to get to a position of buying bulk and understanding materials costs and your sales costs plus where your profit fits into that story as well. Like it's just really important so you really understand those hard costs. I think the idea of going after the boys market is really good because as you said, traditionally boys have been like skincare, no way type thing, like I'll barely wash my hair or whatever it is, for most boys. So not me. So I think that's good, but I think even making that even narrower. So this is for boys aged 15 to 18 or 15 to 25 who care about how they go through life or something like that. So it's targeting a specific demographic within boys rather than saying all boys and all girls will love this product. The only other question I had was. Does it come off quite easily? Because even, I've still got a little bit of
normally you have like water with it to help wash it off.
Okay, so it comes off quite easily once you finish.
It should take like 10 to 15 minutes to dry, like fully, and then, but it's good to wash off and it's really...
normally when it's dried all the way, it's much easier to get
That probably wasn't even dry at all just then. But like,
so it's quite an intense...
That's why I sat here and let it dry.
That's right.
What to do with that?
But it actually dries really nicely.
It's nice.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, no, because it's quite an intense colour, so it's like, oh my god, is it going to come off? It does. So
Don't worry, we thought that too. Georgia was at school when she did it.
Yeah, there's a local businesswoman. Her name's Anne Donnarumma, and she runs Demi International, which is a beauty and massage training organisation in Maroochydore. And she's an amazing person, amazing businesswoman. And I think I'll connect with her because she's really passionate about supporting people and supporting the community. So I'm sure she'll be able to give you some advice and whatnot as well. So.
First thing that leaps to my mind is the regulations around this. You've got to have to show an immense commitment to moving forward with this to get around some of the regulations. As you said, you're worried about people having adverse reactions. I don't know much about skincare, but I'm sure it has to go through some regulation process for it to get approved for sale and things like that. So that's the elephant in the room with a product like this. To Tim's point, I've got a 15-year-old son who has acne, and there is no such thing as a routine or skincare in his brain. If you're going down that track, you've got to battle ahead of yourself around those sort of things. Tim, I'm lucky if I can get into what she's here. So if you're going down the boy thing, you might want to think about how you do that. There's heaps of options. I've got a 17-year-old girl in the house. She has a massive routine around the way she looks after herself. So you've got chalk and cheese. And so you've got one product for chalk and cheese. So to Tim's point, go deeper, go narrower and go deeper. So if you're going to do specifically for boys, focus just on boys in that age group and make your product for them, test it with them, find out to do them. Everyone goes for the women's market. Everyone does that. If you want to create a real opportunity for yourselves, go for a market that no one's really playing in at the moment.
Get some champions and some spokespeople,
and get some men.
We've got lots of the boys.
A lot of boys are lined up wanting to try it.
Yes, and I think Josh said if it actually goes well, he'll wear it at his swimming competition.
Maybe think about, and if your branding's nice, but it's very feminine. So if you're saying you want to boys and girls, it's very feminine. The typeface is feminine. The colour's feminine. The line around is very.
We had it at like pink before, and then we're like we're changing it.
We're just trying to change it to like a more of a natural, natural, because it's supposed to be like environmental friendly.
No, don't go neutral. No, everyone does neutral. You've got to go really hard and own it. Really own it. Look at some of the best brands out there, and they're not neutral. They're making a statement. So if you really want to capture the boys market, just focus on that boys market. Change your branding to be about boys, and also back to the point, the people using your product are young people, but who is buying the product? Okay, so who is buying the product and who's using the product could potentially be two different people, require completely two different messages. So you might want to think about that as well.
I really liked your your taglines: healthy skin, happy life, and get cool, get colour. And I think on that point around I think they're really great taglines, but are they the taglines that appeal to young boys as well, or 15 to 20-year-old boys? So maybe some research into the things that resonate with them as well would be good, and might end up that Get Cool, Get Colour is the one that that they appeal to, but there could be others that you can workshop around with that too.
And if you can get my son to want to put a mask on his face, I'll be a customer.
Easy. I take that as a
Challenge.
challenge. That's a challenge. Yeah.
Are there male masks out there already on the market?
No, they're neutral. Masks are neutral.
No, but is there ones that are branded to males?
Not exactly masks. I think there's more of a skincare wash.
There's
like
body wash,
skincare moisturizer.
Especially if they're shaving, young boys that are shaving that aren't shaving have a completely, to their point, they've gone for a neutral product in a mask because it suits every skin type no matter who you are. But if you can narrow it even further down to just you only go boys, there's nothing out there for boys. I'm in the shop, chemist with my daughter all the time, picking up skincare stuff, and there's nothing that's targeted towards boys.
Yeah.
Nothing.
You can grab 100% of a market that no one has ever penetrated, and that is a real market.
Yeah.
So on the DeLorean dollar side, sorry, you're gonna.
No.
Yeah, the ask. What's the ask?
What is your? You've got your. What is your ask? What do you do next?
Kind of just like money for materials, or like that person you said, just like people, yeah, like advertising and that person, like contacts, so we can like talk to people, and like regulations, so we can just like know this stuff. But
we have gotten some help from the chief entrepreneur. Told us to ask Okasan, and she has gotten back to us, but we just haven't had time.
She's gonna arrange a Zoom meeting with us, which is
And you said one thing about the website. Are you trying to put a website together, or was that not?
we've already got the website, but we're still just like editing it, doing like last and putting our products on there. But like, yeah.
I think if you can get down to, if you go with boys and get really clear on your value proposition for boys, your message around boys, then when you start having introductions like Leanne's done for this particular lady, you can go in and say, we are young people creating products for young boys.
Yeah.
That is a much longer, stronger message than you going, oh, we're doing skincare that everyone can use, it's just young people. They could do that. They're already in the skincare market, they could create something different, but what your value is that you're young people hanging out with young boys all the time, you know, what their needs are, what they will do, what they won't do. That's your value proposition you go to when you're talking with mums.
99% of boys prefer. 99% of girls prefer boys with nice skin.
Can I give you $20 please to put together some materials or whatever else is the next stage of your project?
Yeah, thank you so much.
That'd be really cool.
I'll just close it.
I'll give you 30.
We didn't actually do the clap.
Oh yeah.
We did the clap. It's $20. There's a well done. Great to see you as well.
Thank you so much.
Well done. It's well done. Congrats.
Well done.
Great presentation. Get yourself all sorts of trouble. They don't it's nothing else.
Good to go.
Hi, my name is Abby and this is Molly and Sophie. I'd like to share a story with you. The day my family changed forever. April 19th, 2019, my dad's 40th birthday. I remember my mum and dad were leaving for a weekend holiday that morning, and so our grandparents were going to look after us while they were gone. Before mum and dad left, I remember Jared, my younger brother, was looking unwell and reasonably tired. Mum and dad just thought he was sick. Earlier that week, mum had taken Jared to the hospital as he had broken his jaw in a bike accident, and the doctors just thought he was ill from the accident. Even though the doctors were saying it was from the bike accident, my parents had a gut feeling it was something else. And so they decided to drive him up to Caboolture Hospital. When they arrived, the first thing the doctors tested was his blood sugar, which was 27, but should generally be around a 6. They pulled mum and dad aside and informed them that he was in a DKA, diabetic ketosis, diagnosing him with type 1 diabetes for life. At this point, my parents had nothing with them and would have to stay with him in the hospital for 6 nights, both anxious of what would happen next.
As you can tell, we know from experience how draining and upsetting being in hospital can be, and so we came up with the idea to form Love in Emergency. We want to focus on supporting the families of patients who have to stay overnight with their affected family members. Love in Emergency is a business which provides care packages containing any hygienic or sanitary needs that our potential customers may need. We hope that we can bring a sense of comfort and perhaps brighten the days of people who would more than likely be feeling down. In our packages, we will include the following: hairbrush and hair ties, toothbrush, toothpaste, body wash, shampoo, conditioner, deodorant, lip balm and moisturiser. We also considered putting items such as eye masks or earplugs to give those who receive the package more comfort in a foreign area like a hospital. We also know how long and boring hospital stays can become. Therefore, we have decided to include a special item that can distract people's minds for a short time. Our item will be a small highlighter and pen set with a crossword or word search booklet. From our research that we conducted, this is what either most people believe they needed to feel comfortable or what hospitals have advised to bring since they don't provide them. All these items will be placed into a waterproof bag, since it was suggested by multiple websites to make sure the bag is waterproof in order to keep the items inside the packages dry.
Since our product is a charity, meaning it will be of no cost to those who it is for, it is difficult to begin our business. Money is something we need in order to obtain the resources we just mentioned, and so we can't get anywhere without some sort of funding. The future of our business is not certain. However, we plan to continue to work on ideas on how to fund our packages and get them to those who need them. Collectively, we want to be able to donate our bags to many hospitals around the state and potentially nationally. We want to start with small goals and slowly create bigger goals. This year, we want to accomplish a goal of donating 10 bags to the hospitals. Though this number may seem small, 10 people is better than 0, and this is just a small way to get our business up and running. With your help, we can ensure that families who go through these sort of things know that they have already been thought and cared about. Thank you for listening.
Give me
Sure. Yeah. It's an amazing story, and you've delivered it really well. And is he okay now?
He's okay now.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, and it's obviously just managing that illness throughout the rest of his life. But that's achievable, isn't it? So it's better than the alternative. So that's a really well delivered presentation and very important work that you're doing. So I think the idea of a not-for-profit or a social enterprise doesn't mean that it has to be a not-for-loss or a loss-making venture either. So it can be something that you commercialise in a way, but obviously you're putting the money back into the products and into the cause. So don't necessarily look at it like that it has to be totally a donated product, that you have to be responsible for creating all these packages and sourcing all these materials at your own expense. So think about it in a different way, I think. Within hospitals, there's lots of news agencies and shops and things like that. So I think you could still sell them, and I think even a family who had to arrive in a hospital at last minute and they don't have anything with them, they would still happily go down to a news agency and purchase one of these. It's got everything they need. So then you actually do have a sales stream as well. You can still do the donation. So you allocate maybe if you're looking at 10 bags, you're allocating 5 that are going to be donated for free, and then there's also the opportunity for so the free ones are for the people who may not be in a position to be able to afford them financially, but then you've also got a commercial arm that people are able to buy them and you're able to sell them. This idea, because it has such an emotional story that everyone can relate to who's in that situation, it has the opportunity to be a really good kind of crowd-funded type campaign. So people will donate because they know someone who's been in that situation, or they've been in that situation themselves and they want to pay it forward, or they will just love the idea and get behind you as a social enterprise or a not-for-profit. So I think looking at that kind of crowd-funded model is potentially an option for you. And yeah, I think you said it's about brightening the day. So from a branding and a marketing perspective, work out how you're going to get those messages out there and have those taglines that people really understand. This is Love and Emergencies product and service, and it builds kind of brand recognition over a period of time.
I just needed a minute because I've had exactly the same experience. Went into premature labour and had my baby and had no prenatal care, no bag packed, nothing done, whatever. Arrived at the hospital looking like this. So there is absolutely a need there. Some of the things that I was thinking about is who is the customer? So Love and Emergency, is the customer the extended family or is it Jared?
I feel like it can be a bit of both. Like Jared, like when you're in the hospital, you do get food if you're the patient. Like I feel like the families need it as well because like you obviously don't have anything because it's an emergency. So I think it would be good for the families and the patient.
So similar to what we just talked about, sometimes going very niche around what you're offering is going to be better for you to actually develop your messaging and your value proposition. So for me, when I think about Love and Emergency, if you can provide something that makes the patient feel better, then the family is freed up to actually look after their needs. Now, every hospital has a shop with toothbrushes, etc., in there. So you don't want to compete with them. They're already using that as a way of raising money. Find something that no one else is doing. So is there an opportunity of a care package that can be specifically for the patient that makes them feel better, which frees up the family's emotional space to do what they need to do? The other thing too is personal products are very personal. That's why they're called personal products. So if you put a packet range together and you happen to have Colgate toothpaste in there, and that family's worked out that there's no love for money, I'm going to get my child to brush their teeth with Colgate toothpaste, then you've defeated the purpose. So personal products are very personal, and what I've learned when you're in emergency care, you go with what you know. You just pick up, you're not willing to try new stuff, you don't want to see if it works, if it doesn't work, you want what works. And you don't know what works for these families. So maybe some mass rethinking around who is the person, what you can offer them, and what the value proposition is. I think you've got an opportunity there. And if it focuses on the patient and not about the actual products, focuses on the benefit, then you can start looking at maybe partnering with like Ronald McDonald House, where the parents can come in and they've already got accommodation in Ronald McDonald House. They've got their needs met, they've got a bed, they've got toothbrushes, they've got toilets, they've got all those basic needs met. What are some of the needs that are not being met that Ronald McDonald House could be a facilitator of, and you provide it to Ronald McDonald House and they potentially could be a partner for you? I have lots of mothers and whatnot at the Ronald McDonald House regularly coming to see their kids and things like that, and their basic needs were met, which is what you're trying to provide, but some of those other needs, maybe drill down further into their other emotional needs that they could provide to the patient, which frees them up to actually do other things for them as a family. Because they had to look after you. Jared's in hospital having this absolutely massive attack. There's also you. So is the customer also the other children who are forgotten about in this process? Do you do a package for them? Love and Emergency could be lots of different things. So just think about how you could provide that care, who is it, why you're doing it, and niche right down there.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's actually a more challenging project than it first sounds, just in the same way that Helen's mentioned. Who's the actual end receiver? Is it the person who's ending up in the hospital? Is it family? The one thing I think that I like about the idea is this sort of kind of charity side, but I think you've got to be really careful, just throwing this one out there, that you've got to be really careful on the charity, like Tim said, that if it costs me $30 of getting these products together, that you aren't trying to get those $30 and fund them all yourselves as a charity. What most companies do to start, and almost all of them, is they say, well, actually, I'm going to create this package, whatever it might look like, and it's going to be $15, and the purchaser buys it because they like the brand, they like you guys, they like the idea of Love and Emergency, and then $1 or $2 or 10% of that money goes to the charity. So it's a really good way where you haven't actually physically lost money, the customer's buying it. It might not be the way you want to go, but I know there's, have you heard of Paravida, the friendship bracelet company? I mean, that friendship bracelet company is multi-millionaires, and they said that for every friendship bracelet that's bought, then if it's the pink one or whatever, it goes to breast cancer, dollars to breast cancer, and it is by far the largest American friendship bracelet company in the world, and they are only saying that $1 of the purchase price, say it's $11, $1 goes to charity, and they've got their message out there, and it could be, $1 goes to diabetes. At least you're not losing money, and you're actually growing an audience. And my only other point was what Helen said, is I feel that you might have to do some market research. You know roughly who your target audience is, but do you know what it is they want? And could you try and speak to other people who've had a similar emergency issues? You've got Helen who had a labour, you've got a brother with diabetes, but could you try and find anyone else and try and identify what they feel is a product that they would want? Because if you can't find any crossovers, you'd have to kind of come with a toilet bag package or something like that. Or just look at your networks and find, does that make sense? Try and identify a specific range of types of people who've all been in emergency and what it is that they would have liked. Because then you can get closer to what the MVP might look like. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Even if you found 10 people, and then you just have to see, like, if I brought you this toilet set, or if I brought you this wash bag set, if I brought you this Colgate toothpaste, or whatever it might be.
Yeah, and maybe it's the things that you can't get in the shop downstairs that form part of what this pack includes, and with that, and this is difficult to do, so I'm not suggesting it's going to be an easy thing to do, but if there's 10 products in the bag, are 5 of them kind of sponsored products. So you go to the product manufacturer and you write a letter to say, hey, we're in year 10. Are you year 10? Yeah. We're in year 10. We've got this idea. We'd like you to donate 50 things of toothpaste or whatever it might be, and then on your website and on all your materials, you're promoting them as because they have a corporate social responsibility, so they would see something like this as part of their kind of community engagement, community outreach, and if you can have a few of those products within the bag that are sponsored, which essentially pay for the rest of the bag and the distribution to the people, then that might help as far as the business model goes. So the other point I was just going to make as well, which was, do you have a web presence at all at this stage?
Not yet.
No, that's right. Because I was going to say, if and when you do, and it could be through socials as well, how are you also reflecting what you're trying to achieve up on the website? So obviously hospitals are really boring, waiting around doing nothing. So what are the kind of the gamification type things that you can do on the website that keep either the patient, the brother or sister, the parents engaged and finding something to do while they're hanging around with their with the sick or injured person. So and if you can find that balance between the website and the package, that's a nice connection. And then it also helps you, if you get some good visitation to the website, it helps you with that message of trying to get sponsored products within the pack. Obviously, those sponsored products need to be aligned to the values of what you're trying to create. There, you don't want Cancer Coke in there type thing. It's like it's things things that you can that suit the
puzzles are good, aren't they?
Puzzles.
I'm just throwing it out because toiletry and stuff, but Rubik's cubes and puzzles and those things that you can do on your own, even if it's a Sudoku or any of that sort of stuff.
So once again, you're young people trying to help potentially young people. I'm not a 50-year-old person trying to help a young person. There's something lost in that. But you're a young person trying to help a young person. Think about what Jared would have wanted on the day. What a little pack of Rubik's Cube and a puzzle or something like that, just to brighten his spirits, which is enough for a parent to go, one less thing I have to worry about. Now I can go and buy the toothpaste that I want. It's all those sort of things. For me, when I had my daughter, I had nothing. So if there was a package that was waiting for me when I rocked up that day that had some of my basic needs met and then my needs for my little girl, then that would have been freaking amazing. And if that's the case, then you've got partners through your health funds that could do that. Could be partners, Ronald McDonald House, back to your corporate social responsibility, that's definitely without a doubt your business model, but try and find a commercial business model before you go down to the philanthropy or the donation route, because that is drying up really quickly.
It's not sustainable. And in the early stages of this, how can you collaborate with your other DeLorean project counterparts, like the girls from Magnogenic, who have created a face mask? So can you get some bottles of that in the pack as well? So can Jack James put some music together? I think that kind of helps tell a story that this is created by young people for young people.
Just think big too. You can go to Spotify, and just here's a gift certificate for 2 months of free Spotify, so a kid can just listen to his own music while he's in hospital. Go big sometimes. Think right now. But if you're young, you created a product for young people in hospital. That's your value proposition. So go back to that and then look at what you could offer. Thank you.
What's your ask?
We don't really know yet. We haven't figured out the price for one.
It's okay, guys. It's alright.
When you're ready.
So they're doing it then, is that?
You ready?
Yeah, go.
Yeah.
Fire away.
Sure. Go. Okay. Hi, my name's Lanika. This is Aiden, Mackenzie, and Anisha, and we are Waihe. Our passion is to help people who are in need of any kind of help emotionally, financially, etc. We want to help as best as we can with cooking mainly. Our problem is that some families and single parents are struggling with cooking, finance problems, or just don't have the time to cook full meals. But our solution is to make educational and instructional videos that will make the process easier for all ages. Oh, video. Yeah, we have a video. Sample video. A sample video. We weren't able to add sound. Yeah.
Oh, nice and sweet.
Oh yeah. It's gotta be.
I'll just get someone from the group, just pretend you're talking to what's happening on the screen or a little bit about your project.
Yeah, so this is again our sorbet.
That was sorbet.
We do actually have samples. We do actually have samples if you guys would like to try it.
Absolutely, yes please. Was this the one that was just being made?
Yes.
What's our problem? Cooking can either be a joy or a chore. Most people generally see it as a ladder.
Nice one.
Whether you're a busy mum, overworked executive, a student, or a batching bloke, you have to eat or you're gonna die. Food is a non-negotiable, and general takeaway food is not healthy at all.
What is Waihe? We show you how to make budget-friendly meals in less than 15 minutes. Our videos provide step-by-step instructions on easy meals in a minute or 15. If you can see, you can cook, and you will be entertained by all our funny mistakes.
For instance, the lid.
Who is our target audience? Pretty much anyone. Mothers and fathers, single or in families, students, little kids who like to cook for their families, people who are unsure about their cooking skills or can't cook at all, older people, elderly, people who are just looking for a quick, easy and tasty meal. And it's awesome fun.
Yep. Social media platforms. Our social media platforms include Instagram and YouTube. So, yeah.
So far we haven't actually been able to upload anything, but that will be happening very soon.
Yes, depending on how our other videos that we are creating go.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Stay with yourself. talking a little bit more about it, if that's all right, just for a few more seconds.
Okay. So, Waihe was based off all of our love of cooking and entertaining people, and our, I guess, love for the community.
Yes. We also want to be able to sample the food after we've cooked it to some of our classmates and some other people in the school, and eventually be able to sell it other than just make them and then just eat it ourselves.
Waste it.
That sampling can also be putting up videos to show
how we help the community.
Yeah.
And also how people react to the different tastes and all that of the food.
Yeah. Thanks.
Well done. Everyone's got to eat.
Yes.
So, I'll kickstart. Need clarity on who your target audience is. Once again, you've gone really broad. You need to bring it back. You're young people. So, who do you know best?
Young people.
Young people, okay? So they're the ones you know best. So I think young people know they've got to eat well, as opposed to the processed food that you talked about.
Yeah.
Maybe your target audience is videos for young people, food made easy. Now we look at Kim from 4 Ingredients, absolute champion in this space, cooking with 4 ingredients, cooking made easier, but her target audience are mums and dads because they're time poor. That's why it works really well. So think about who your audience is and what the value proposition is for them. A lot of your peers have got parents who are both working.
Yeah.
Could it be something they can bring home when they get home from school, a quick afternoon snack that happens in 10 minutes that they can eat straight away? Because one thing I know about my teenage kids, when they're hungry, they want food straight away.
Yeah.
Okay? And I would like it to be nutritious, you know?
Yeah.
So that's my interest in that. So I think you have an opportunity to actually go deep and be clear about who your audience is and just focus on the kids and give them tools to actually cook better.
Okay.
So there could be a recipe that says this is how you make it, this is the list, so they can say, hey mum, this week I want to cook this for afternoon tea, can you put this on the shopping list? It's in the cupboard ready, so when they're ready to cook, it's there ready to go.
Yeah.
So I think you got onto something, you need to just refine it and refine it and refine it and bring it all the way back down.
Yeah.
And then the business model around it, mum and dad pay for this. Okay? Mum and dad are the people that are buying this, the kids are the ones using it, because if I could give the kids access to these videos that they can get at any time, I get the shopping list, I buy it, it's in the cupboard, I know that when I'm at work and they're making afternoon tea, I know it's at least nutritious, they've got all the ingredients they need, it'll be fast, it'll have that instant gratification, and if it's healthy, then that's a winner for me.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, absolutely. I echo everything that Helen said. It's when you listed off all those target markets, like that's a wide range of people you're going to try and sell to. So I think going for the young people and exactly what you said, getting home from school, being able to make something yourself that isn't fast food on the way home. If they know that they're going to go home, all the ingredients are going to be there. The instructions on how to make it are going to be there, and they're going to get a really healthy, nutritious snack. Is really important. Having printable, downloadable cards, menu cards, it would be a great idea to make sure that people who are a little less confident in the kitchen know exactly what they're going to do when they get home. Really targeted at that afternoon kind of snack.
Get really niched in that.
Yeah.
Don't forget printable cards, sorry. If you spend any time with a teenager in the kitchen, they've got a computer on the kitchen bench.
That's true.
It's a YouTube channel that they subscribe to that they can pick a recipe straight away and then cook to it straight away.
Yeah, true. I was also thinking it's like a ingredients card. So it's like here's hey mum and dad, can you go and here's the card that I want for the cards that I want for this week when you go to the grocery shop. And if there's a way to make that non-printable, as a digital thing, then that's great. Also, like we said with a couple of the pictures today, building a community around this. So getting people to make their smoothie at home, take a photo of it, build some hashtags that are really unique to your product, and Waihe is a really great kind of brand because you can hashtag Waihe, and the rest of the hashtags that follow, so that people are kind of posting, sharing, and inspiring others to get involved. I think will be really important. And the commercialization of this. So it's like, how are you going to build the presence such that people are going to pay for this over just Googling something on YouTube and finding themselves. So what's the uniqueness that you can create that people are going to pay for? And as you say, it's the parents who will pay knowing that the kids are going to be eating something nutritional.
Have a look at seasonality too, because if you can buy your recipes for a seasonality, the product is cheap too. And I know teenagers in the house are expensive to feed. If you can make it relatively cheaper, like strawberries are in season at the moment, so you focus around strawberries around this time of the year, whereas pumpkins and whatnot are different season.
Yeah.
That'll make it a little bit cheaper too.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's absolutely really tasty. And so you've done a great job making, and it's your product that's here in the real life. What Tim said about the commercialization, that's something you're going to kind of work out how to get people either buying it or using it or becoming. I've noticed that if you can get someone on a newsletter and get their email address, if you can pick up 100 of these email addresses, you can just email them and say, we've got a new recipe out, this is the card of what you need, it's strawberries, sugar, whatever it is, then you can access and just keep adding people to that newsletter. And then the one thing about that Helen said is about kind of focusing on what, just so you can move this project on. For me, you've done a really good sorbet. So it's basically snacks for after school. Is that you don't want to be, you've got to be very careful you don't get stuck into bigger, into food or main meal or something. So if you could somehow create a tagline or an overall brand. So we're offering you the healthy brownie, healthy cookies, healthy sorbets that your kids, your family can make when they come home from school. Then it kind of niches it down to something quick and simple, and it makes your life probably easier as well.
Yeah.
And gets the customer knowing, got you, it is a really nice cookie or brownie or sorbet that's healthy. Get some good recipes, and then you can move it on and get your customer base and start kind of moving it to the next little sort of cycle, which I feel is getting 10 users, so to speak, or does that make sense?
Yeah, and start building up a little bit of a community, because when you go out there, you can go out to some of the food and ag boards and things like that and get them to sponsor different shows. So if you're doing a strawberry sorbet on your YouTube, is proudly sponsored by, I don't know, some strawberry association or strawberry farm or something like that. So, and one thing marketers always want to do is get to young people sooner rather than later. And if you can create that as a channel for them, then you've got their money in the bank.
It's also trending really well right now because of COVID. Everything seems to be upside down, and all the food companies like HelloFresh, they are having, I think I just read they had a 400% month-on-month increase in people ordering food or doing online or bringing sort of either the food or the service or the product into the home rather than running around Coles. So accessing them, even if it is that the mums and dads run to Coles to get the actual products, to need recipes, at least somehow this COVID is actually creating a kind of a segue to get people doing these sort of things.
And keep the videos fun, get people to have a laugh, or else you're not going to go engage the kids if you don't. Make the mistakes that they would make in the house too, Forget to put the lid on and shower the room with sorbet or something like that, and then go take 2 and then how to do it the proper way, Got to make it fun.
Yeah.
Can I just butt in for a second? Can I get all you guys, what I want to do, I just want to mock up a round of applause, like these guys have just finished their presentation.
Yeah, we should do that. Don't mock it up. Let's just do it.
Went so well. I'll just count to 3.
You ready?
Might just get you guys to just move over that seat. Squeeze in as tight as you can. And 1, 2, 3.
Site design and combine them to make a company that uses our unique skill set to tackle these issues.
So we invented Evolved Comfort, a clothing brand that produces ethically sourced t-shirts with unique designs and sells them for a price that won't break the bank, then gives 1% of the proceeds to charities that help fight against inequalities.
For example, 88% of people stopped by police are people of colour, and this is a clear bias that needs to be addressed and fought against. So we have created this design and a few others that represent this issue and promote a society of unity. That's the one on the little cards. 1% of the proceeds from this design would go to the charity Amnesty International, a charity devoted to helping create equal society for people of all colours. And the shirt is reflective of the charity, so you could choose which shirt you wanted to go to which charity.
Comparing gender discrimination, a woman makes 85 cents to every dollar a man makes, and there are more CEOs in the world named John than there are women CEOs. We created this design to show the gender equality we want to see in the world. 1% of the proceeds from this design would go to Care and Plan. These are charities devoted to creating an equal world for all women.
And the final cause we would like to support is equality within the LGBTQ+ community, because statistically LGBTQ youth are 6 times more likely to have depression, solely based on their difference in preference. We have yet to design an image to represent them with the time pressure, but we hope to make something for them in the future. And we are planning to give 1% of the proceeds from that future design to the Pride Foundation, which is a charity that fights against LGBT homeless and other issues.
And don't worry, all these charities have been contacted, and we have asked for their permission before using their name and donating to them.
Okay, so these are a few versions of our MVP, and we are also wearing some of our products to demonstrate style. The quality of the shirts in the future will be better, because to bulk order them we would have to get them from a different company. And we're still in discussion with a few of the different suppliers that supply ethical t-shirts. This was also our first time experimenting with transfer paper, and unfortunately we ran into some issues, so we are currently researching a better quality product for commercial use. But these MVPs are good examples of all the different styles and designs that the shirts will come in. These are just some of our beginning designs, and we plan to make many more, covering more issues.
We asked around our class, and 21 out of 21 students said they would wear it. They even suggested new design ideas, including putting the designs on the back or the pocket. We have just begun with the shirts now, but if the company picks up, we plan on selling stickers and other products with the designs printed on them. We've already gotten 15 pre-orders from family members and friends who are willing to support us. So to buy our website, repay our MVP and start selling our t-shirts, we are looking at a starting loan of $100 and some connections to shirt printing companies or equality charities to get our business off the ground.
We hope you're as excited about this project as we are and want to invest in our idea. If you want to follow our social media, they are up on the screen.
And we would love to hear your feedback.
Okay, first. Yeah, really important what you're doing, and good on you for doing it. There's more people like you in the world, fighting for those causes. So it is a great thing, and I think there's a few things that you might consider, which is, and it's great that you've reached out to those charities and those organisations. That's really great initiative to actually contact them. And did they get back to you? Did they?
Yeah. All the ones that were on the slides said that they were cool with us using their image and linking from our website to theirs. So like giving them promotional stuff and donating to them.
That's excellent. So I think it is a great idea, and as it kind of scales, so who's the designer and who's the you're the designer, yeah. So you've got some great designs already, but I think using the community and crowdsourcing the ideas and also the designs could be something that you look at. So it's like, in fact, both. Like you could say, this month we're looking for causes to support and get behind, and people utilise your hashtag and put forward these ideas. So then you narrow them down to the ones you want to support, and you go, okay, the cause that we're supporting this month is XYZ. Now we're looking for designers for the best design to come up with. So then you've got people who are really engaged in the process and really getting behind it. And then obviously you want to pay the artists who contribute. So if you do have a guest designer, then they're getting a cut of the profits as well for that particular sales of that particular shirt type thing or product or service. So I think that's just one way to build profile, build awareness about the products and also the causes that you're doing, and obviously share the donations with those relevant charities and whatnot too. So you'll need to be really careful in where you source your materials from. Like, so if you're sourcing shirts, they need to be fair trade and all those kind of things, because you can't be saying you're supporting one cause and then allowing kind of sweatshop type thing, which I know you wouldn't, but it's just...
why so we're currently talking to them about like pricing and how much it would cost for to put different designs on them. And then sort of you need pre-orders before you can go and order like 20 of the same shirt.
And people will pay more when they know there's a good kind of provenance, from it as well. So they're the points that I have.
I really like it. So first up, congrats, because you've actually got 3 products sitting right here, all different, printed, and you're wearing 2 and there's another one. So we've actually got, it's not just a minimal vibe product, it is a product basically ready to go. So I think that's really good. And you've obviously got a very clear sort of, I was going to say a target audience, which is the Black Lives Matters and the LGBTs and all that sort of target that's quite prominent right now. So there's no better time to be doing this. So really well done. My only feedback, or to understand where you can take it forward, is that in the kind of pre-order to creating a design to then making the T-shirt, you're using the transfer papers now. So and then the only evolution would be either like a screen printing process. So if you go to the screen printing process, they make the plates, but you can't have as many designs as you might want, because it will cost. Well, you can, but you have to just have those orders so that they can make the plates, so that you can then do it. And the design normally has to be relatively quite straightforward, if that makes sense. So I'm only throwing that out now, so that the conversations you can have is, if you could get, like, you could build your customer base and say, look, we're actually doing. Maybe not have as many designs, because I like this one here with the 2 hands holding each other, and they're all great designs, but you could try and harness every one of your pre-orders to say, look, we're actually trying to get going, can we all order this one design and come with one design that's the best, if you're going down the screen printed side. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Or you're thinking about doing the transfer one, this one here you're doing, which one are you thinking?
Well, the transfer paper is very time consuming and hard to make them all sort of the same quality. Yeah.
So screen printing is the way.
Yeah.
That's my thoughts.
Or a better transfer paper that works.
Yeah, it's still hard.
Yeah.
Screen printing is probably the way to go. Is just.
If this is a screen printed T-shirt, if it was a screen printed T-shirt, what you could do is you could really say to your target audience, look, guys, we're trying to get going. We've got some really great designs. Everyone, try and minimise them to a couple tops, good designs, because they're embracing you and supporting you, and one design should be able to hopefully capture all of these different groups, and that means you might get a screen printer, I reckon, a minimum 50, and you've nailed it in one shot, if that makes sense. But there's a couple of good screen printers in Ruchi, by the way. I'll connect you with someone. Okay. Because they're super easy. And you can walk in, by the way, and just say, this is what I'm trying to do, and they'll literally just tell you there and then. They'll show you like a bunch of shirts or a bunch of things, and they'll say how many they need and what prices. It's not as difficult as you think.
I always come back to the same message: niche, right down. So you've got. Once again, you're young people, and equality is really important to you, I think. So if nothing else I got out of this is what you're doing is about promoting the message of equality. Okay, so if that is what you are wanting to do, then you're using shirts to do that. It's like who gives a crap, they're using toilet paper to help provide for people water elsewhere. So I put on there, have a look at who gives a crap and their messaging and why they've done it, very similar. My suggestion is, once again, young people. Find other young people who believe in equality just like you do. They're your target audience. Forget the Black Lives Matter and the big messages that are out there. Niche down and find young people and what equality messages they want to hear right now. Start with one design and get it out there and start building your community. And if you get the right community that all are interested in equality, I think you've got an opportunity to use your community to source you new designs. Say, okay, we're ready for our second design. Community, come and give us your designs of what you would like to see on your shirts, and then nominate which charity you want us to actually then do that. And so you're getting them involved in the process for your second design, third design, fourth design, etc., you know, go down that way. The other thing too is I think it's important, who gives a crap when they wrap everything and whatnot, it's all ethical, but their messaging is across it. I think you've got an opportunity with your shirt, picking the right shirt, and young people, right at the back of the collar, a really small print at the back says something like, my shirt funds XYZ charity. So it just sits on the back. So you're not just creating shirts for the sake of shirts, you're creating them for a very particular purpose. And so you can have the design at the front, and you can have a little message that this shirt funds this charity. And you link the design back to the charity, and then you can create the second design, third design, fourth design, and those little messages. And that will allow you to actually niche right down, go to your screen printer, get one design plated, do a selection of clothes, get a young person design, male and a female, maybe pick a couple of sizes, you know, the 8, 6, 8, 10, whatever, niche it down and get it out there and start growing your community and use your community, because this is such an important message for young people. So your young people are your message, not your Black Lives Matter, adults, all that sort of stuff. It's young people that are looking for equality in the world that they're creating.
I think that's great advice, yeah, because I think that, you know, the risk with Black Lives Matter is that, like, you know, as a white person, how can we be saying, oh yeah, let's support equality, like we've got no lived experience with that thing? But if you're, you know, as you say, kind of talking with young people and finding out what the issues are that are relevant to them, and you know, every one of those other things that you're talking about are, so yeah, you can sometimes get a negative response from trying to do a good thing. So even though Black Lives Matter is absolutely a very important cause, who are we to be able to say that that's the one that we're going to support? So yeah, I think
the other thing is do something local now. Like find a local charity. You know, so when you write on the back, we're supporting, like I'll say wish list, we're supporting wish list. Everyone goes in their local market, knows that charity, and they can make a correlation directly from purchasing that shirt to a charity they know about. So start really small, right here. Okay, with your students, find a charity that the students all know about. You can then interview the charity, you can start getting stories with the charity, you can make it really personal and purposeful, and use that as your MVP. Okay, thank you.
So what's the ask for the DeLorean dollars? What are you trying to hope to do next?
I think the amount was $100, wasn't it?
Hi, I'm William. This is Connor, and we're E-Customs. So what do? Here you can see we've got a normal skateboard, and our idea is to make it electric by hiding all the electronic components inside the deck, so it has a nice, sleek, clean look.
The typical electric skateboard is heavy and stands out, and it's just a pain to carry around. The boards are generally boring. Our board has dual hub motors. Typical boards have a single hub wheel. With a lithium battery, our boards have a clean look and are not as bulky or heavy. Is there anything like this? Yes, there are other skateboards like this, but they cost way too much and people want over $2,000. Our skateboard costs $400 to make, which is cheap compared to the other skateboards. The sale price is $700.
That's all we got. We did have some issues because originally we started with the idea we were going to make electric powered skateboards by salt water, but we ran into some issues where we couldn't make enough power off the salt water, so now we just went to custom electric skateboards.
So the sale price, that's the skateboard with the electric components already in it.
Yeah.
So So is there an opportunity to create those electric components for someone to add to their existing skateboard?
We can make
possibly.
Because one thing I've learned, skateboards are very particular. You like your particular skateboard and the design and the look and the feel and how it works. So maybe the opportunity is to actually just create a component that people add to their existing skateboard to electrify it, and then connect with the guys that are using kinetic energy, you know, to actually have that as a completely self-sufficient unit underneath. So as you're going down the hill, like you do with electric bikes, it actually feeds the battery. No? You thought of that?
We did think of that. And then, I don't know what happened to it. Because what we're trying to do is like hide all the electronics in it. So like it just looks like a normal board, but electric.
So you buy that you currently have a board in your garage that you like to skate, and then you're going to try and source the electric components to turn it into an electric skateboard.
Yeah. But keep it the same look, so it looks.
So it's
normal.
like inside the board, like. Yeah.
But that, I mean, that's a fully functional end product design. Your minimal viable product is having something that you attach underneath to make sure it works first.
Yeah.
And then if you can get that actually working and people like the idea and it's not too difficult, then obviously the next level is you go into production where you slightly change the thickness of the board to allow for those electrics to go into it down the track. And that's where you start looking at big partnership ideas and things like that. Did you talk to kids about, in market research, about how many people wanted their skateboards electric?
Not really.
Yeah, not really.
When did you start with this new project from the previous one? Have you just
we've thought about, like, when we started with the salt water thing, we were going to put the actual like salt water bit in the deck as well, and then we're like, why don't we just, because the salt water wasn't really working, why don't we just put all the electronics in, and that's where that went to.
Okay. I mean, it's a big project.
Yeah.
I mean, you've heard of Evolve skateboards?
Yes.
Evolve, so I think they're Gold Coast.
Yeah.
And they're world leaders. They've done a really great job. I saw them winning the Export Award 2 years ago. So they've done. What they're doing is creating. They've got a really good supply chain coming from Asia with all the products that you're talking about, and they've got a big factory assembling and doing.
Yeah.
So you'd be trying to piecemeal this a little bit more simply.
I'm wondering if it's even going back to the drawing board.
Is this a really?
Where was the idea of the salt water coming from? What was it you? Because everything comes back to an idea. Take me back right at the beginning of what was happening.
I don't even know.
Was it always around skateboards?
Skateboards and bikes.
Skateboards was something that came as a result. What came first? What problem were you trying to solve?
The pollution of electric scooters. Like, we thought, since they make electric lime scooters in like Brisbane, and a lot of kids like pick them up and throw them in the water, and the batteries corrode and pollute the ocean. So we thought, if we made it out of salt water, if kids did do that still, at least the battery wouldn't be the major issue, because that's what the issues are with those.
Okay, so that's the key.
Yeah.
You've got to go back to that. So it's not about the skateboard. It's about electric batteries that when they're disposed of, they're polluting the environment.
Yeah.
So you go back to that and start with that again. And it's not about the skateboard. It's about the environment that you're trying to protect from the lithium batteries that people are just not valuing and discarding. So what your goal is, and you may not achieve the goal, but the problem you're trying to solve is an environmentally friendly e-battery that doesn't matter how it's disposed, it's not going to pollute the environment.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So if that's the problem that you've got, you may not find a solution for it, but that's still your problem, and you investigate down if there's ways that you could do that, you'd research it and might go, shit, the problem's too big, I can't deal with that problem. But always go back to your problem. I think what's happened is you've gone down that problem path and gone, I don't think I can do it with water, so I'll just do it with skateboards.
Yeah.
You jumped too far away. Go back to your problem. There might be another way. If the environment is the one thing that you're really the beneficiary of solving the problem, is there another way that you could go back to that problem and find another way of helping the environment?
Yeah.
And you're right, people with those lime scooters in Brisbane literally just dump them and throw them in the river, and they're awful, let alone the accidents that happen out of them and whatnot.
Yeah.
I think that's really great advice, and I think whatever idea you do come back to, like it's getting some market research. So if you were progressing down the path of the skateboard, then go to some of the skate parks at Alex at BY here and talk to people. And I know that's not always an easy thing to do, but if you can really understand what those pain points are, why people might buy your product or service, and what that product or service could evolve into, then that's you really need that. And you obviously skaters yourself, so you've got a general idea from your own experience, but getting more and more market research is really important. Also, just on your presentation, like I know it's kind of nerve-wracking to get up in front of people, but hiding behind the TV isn't great, because when you're doing a pitch or something like that, if you're hiding physically, then what else are you hiding from the presentation, from from your pitch? And if you're asking for money, then somebody wanting to invest in you wants to see you really open. So even when you're presenting, talking with your hands open like that tells people that you're an open and honest person, but hiding behind a TV doesn't. So I know it's kind of it is a bit daunting, but just try and work through those things as well.
And to Tim's point, sorry Tim, you were probably hiding because you hadn't put much effort into this presentation. It was off the cuff. You hadn't put a lot of the thought through that we were looking for. Come up front, be up front with that, stand in front of it and say, look, we've only just really come to this idea. We've been playing with all these other options. This is the problem we were trying to solve, and we tried to do it this way and it didn't work, but this is what we've got today. And own that, and tell us that that's where you're at.
I mean, the entire world at the moment, they call it the pandemic pivot, like most businesses worldwide, the PP, pandemic pivot. So what's happened is you've actually had your little first pivot, you had the idea of the salt idea, and now you're maybe onto the skateboard idea. So don't, I think it's quite good at an early age to learn, look, this is what we did, it's kind of maybe rebounded on me, I've got to go find another idea. And my advice going forward is I think you've taken on another sort of challenging project. I feel like you've jumped from what is a challenging project into something that's still quite challenging. And I don't know, my mind is just trying to go forward. I think we've got another 6 or 7 weeks to DeLorean or longer. How long have we got DeLorean? 10? 5 this term. Okay, we've got 5 this term and 4 next term. And if I could, deliver one piece of advice, if you could, after today, sit down between the pair of you and go, do we want to have a product or an idea or a strategy delivered at the end of DeLorean, and what that might look like, and then build it back, so that you can have a bit of a goal that in 6 or 7 weeks' time, if you stay on this idea, then how can we move forward and get these electric components, or how can we build up that idea? And if you think, do you know what, people are falling over skate parks, how can I get the idea of wearing a helmet better connected, or whatever else is related to skateboarding, move that along, so that you because it's cool to pivot or come up with a new idea, but then I just love to see it move into, if I was here in 8 weeks' time, I'd love to see what the new idea was. That for me,
your
that for me was
presentation
the
today
greatest.
was that pivot. Starting with the problem, go back to your problem, tell us what the problem you were solving, and then tell us how you tried to solve it this way and why it didn't work that way and whatnot. And today, we've come up with another alternative way of solving that problem. And that was your pitch today.
But good on you for getting involved in the program and coming up and delivering it. In any case, like it does take a lot of courage to do that. So just keep with it. Don't kind of go, okay, well that didn't work out. Like it's really, as you say, it's just like, okay, well this is exactly the moment in time you needed to come to with this idea, so that you can move in a different direction potentially. So stick with it, but just rethink it a little bit.
Some of the biggest companies on planet Earth were not doing the project or business that they started, almost all of them. So Netflix, we read his story, social media, there wasn't anything to do with it, and Instagrams, these guys were nothing anywhere near those businesses.
Netflix was delivering blockbuster
videos back to us oldies, and they turned it to Netflix. And the one the other day from Instagram, the guy was like, oh, we're trying to store stuff on our computers. Nobody wants to pay me to store stuff, but somehow pictures are quite high resolution with cosmic data. We'll store some pictures. So he goes, all right, store my pictures on my server, and everyone goes, all right, and he turned it into Instagram. You're like, well, in a million years, that's the biggest pivot I've ever seen. There's no way of Google, there's no such thing as Google search browsers. It came from what was called Alphabet back in the day, and there wasn't a search alphabet. It wasn't nothing. And he goes, oh, now people are searching computers. We'll call it Google. So there's nothing wrong with having a bit of a change. Game on. I'm totally excited, and I'd love to see what happens the next 8 weeks. That's what we're going to put on you. It'd be great because I think we get to catch up with you again at one of the do the thing at the end. At the showcase, we'd love to see what this turns into, and that's your that's your challenge. What's the ask? Are we going to give them some dollars? We've got to give some dollars to get this going, haven't we? What's your ask? I want to give some dollars to get this going. What's the ask? What do you want to do? If we give you some dollars, what will you commit to?
No. We haven't thought about that.
You don't have to ask for dollars.
I want to give you $20 just because it's my commitment to you to see if you can use that and go, right, well, I'm thinking about this. And we'll catch up in 8 months' time as well. If that's cool.
Yeah, I'll give you 18.
Nice.
So yeah, for the same reason, like this is our kind of commitment that you'll keep working on it and you'll come back with a more evolved idea in 8 weeks. How's that sound?
Come and grab your dollars. Well, that's well done.